What's up guys, welcome back. This is anime fiction. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was Reborn as a Phoenix God Part 1. Now let's begin. Chapter 1, Naruto's perspective. I've always found it difficult to believe in the concept of life after death. Do souls truly exist, or are we solely a product of biology and physicality? I never expected to find the solution to this, but life has a knack for throwing unexpected curveballs our way. I truly believed I was no longer alive. I found it amusing that despite my inability to recall the details of my past life or the circumstances of my death, I still retained memories of trivial things like my favorite food, song, and all the entertainment I indulged in throughout the years. Oh, and let's not forget my name. Naruto Uzumaki. Actually, how can I develop a personality without the important memories from my life? Anyway, I chose not to worry about those insignificant matters because at the moment, I found myself surrounded by complete darkness, with no trace of light. It was quite frustrating and overwhelming because I had lost track of how long I had been here. I attempted to escape from this confinement on numerous occasions, but despite my efforts and determination, I lacked the necessary strength. However, there was a noticeable shift occurring as I began to sense a surge in my strength, as if an external force was empowering me to escape from this place. I was giving my utmost effort and exerting all my strength to overcome the formidable obstacle that lay before me. I lacked sufficient room for punching or kicking, thus I was limited to forcefully maneuvering my way forward. And finally, after all my hard work, I heard a faint cracking sound, and a solitary beam of light filtered through a minuscule fissure. This gave me the motivation I needed and I increased my efforts. Gradually, the small crack expanded until a sizable portion of the wall detached and fell to the ground. A significant amount of light entered and nearly caused temporary blindness. Oh, my eyes are feeling quite sensitive. I carefully acclimated to the light, and once my eyes were sufficiently adjusted, I efficiently shattered the upper portion of the confining object. I attempted to stand up, and let me tell you, the feeling I experienced was far beyond what one might describe as having jelly legs. I experienced intense discomfort throughout my entire body. However, I stood up nonetheless because I was finally liberated. Oh, how I longed for the light. I must admit, the dark side had its appeal, but I desired the best of both worlds, particularly the nourishing vitamin D found in the light side. However, as I was joyfully celebrating my newfound freedom, I had overlooked the group of individuals standing in front of me with an air of awkwardness. They appeared quite intimidating, resembling a group that may be associated with dark practices, given their attire of dark gowns and long hoods concealing their faces. Oh, and I should note that I was completely unclothed, just like when I entered this world. Upon closer inspection, the room had an intriguing resemblance to the mysterious temples often depicted in cult movies. I hope I won't be subjected to any sinister rituals once I finally escape from this dreadful confinement. Who? I attempted to communicate, but my voice emerged as a raspy whisper, as if I had been deprived of speech for an extended period. This assumption was likely accurate, considering the indefinite duration of my confinement within that cage. I examined the object that had once confined me with a disdainful gaze, only to be taken aback by the unexpected sight of shattered fragments from a colossal stone egg. I was unaware of how that could have been possible. Was it intended to resemble a stone cage in the shape of an egg or something? If it was, I would sincerely like to meet the architect behind such an impeccable design, although I might have some strong words for him if I ever meet him. Upon reflection, I noticed that my appearance had undergone some changes. I appeared more fit and muscular, I suppose, although I can't recall my exact previous appearance. There was a peculiar layer of mucus that had formed on my skin. It was a rather peculiar experience, as if I had stumbled into an alternate reality. I not only passed away, but I found myself being reborn within a large, stone-like egg. I understand that some may perceive my thought process as time-consuming, but I have ultimately reached a straightforward conclusion. But guess what? Experiencing the phenomenon of being reborn in an egg after death is quite an extraordinary occurrence for me. Welcome, esteemed guest, to the realm of the living, a voice resonated from a cult member who exuded authority within their group. We performed the ritual to ensure your successful arrival into this world, following all instructions. Alright. It's clear that she had some unconventional beliefs, as she went as far as performing a ritual to bring someone into existence from an egg, even though there was a possibility that this individual could have been a supernatural entity. However, she managed to accomplish it. However, I still required additional information to ascertain the situation I find myself in and, more importantly, the source of the information regarding me, the egg, or the alleged ritual that was conducted. It would be beneficial to maintain ongoing communication with them in order to gather additional information on all aspects. I cleared my throat and made another attempt to speak. May I inquire about your identity? This time, my voice sounded more polished and effortless than before. Upon this, the woman unveiled her face, revealing it to me for the first time. She had a pair of captivating eyes on a stunning face framed by luscious black hair. With a confident gaze, she locked eyes with me and started. I am Celine Gallio, the leader of our group. Our goal was to support you, the eldest and only son of the Phenix, in your mission to bring about positive change in the world and reclaim your rightful place as ruler of all realms in the universe. Although I found those words to be quite grand and tempting, my attention was captivated by three specific things: Celine Gallio and the Phenix. Two individuals whose names I recall hearing in a specific fictional universe, the Marvel Multiverse. Naruto's perspective right now, all the excitement I had previously experienced from my rebirth was completely diminished, as I found myself having to deal with a seductive death and a comical Satan among the many concerns in Marvel. I immediately recalled the presence of a certain individual, fixated on impressing their crush by annihilating half the universe, along with a voracious planet-devouring entity. There were numerous individuals in this universe who aspired to control or terminate all existence for irrational motives. You know what, it doesn't matter. I was fortunate enough to be given a second chance, just like the legendary protagonists in anime. I wasn't going to squander it. Regardless of what happens, I am determined to make the most of my second chance at life. However, I would like to strategically plan in order to maximize the benefits of this opportunity. To do so, I require additional information. Additionally, I won't decline the opportunity to receive free support from these dedicated supporters. One of them was kind enough to provide me with a robe to conceal my powerful sword. Yes, it was truly formidable, capable of single-handedly winning wars. Despite appearing quite fearful of me. Honestly, I don't blame him. Anyone would feel apprehensive considering that I emerged from an egg as a result of an enigmatic ritual, after all. Celine, please provide further details about this world and your discovery of the egg and the ritual, I inquired concisely. Certainly, my lord. This planet is commonly known as Earth, and it is sometimes referred to as Midgard. Humans currently hold the highest position in the hierarchy of life on Earth. I, on the other hand, am part of a race known as mutants, which is considered to be superior to humans, although we are not as superior as you, my lord. Flattery. Well, I must admit I don't despise it. As mutants, we must conceal our true identities and live among humans, constantly fearing for our lives due to our limited population. According to Earth's calendar, it is currently the year 1996. The current era is witnessing a significant surge in the development of civilization, unfortunately accompanied by a rise in criminal activities targeting individuals of my ethnicity. Wow, she seems to have a strong interest in mutants, doesn't she? She was really focused on the topic, even though I never asked about it. Well, I am now aware of the current year. What about the egg and the ritual? How did you acquire the knowledge about those? You mentioned being informed about it. I politely urged her to focus on the specific information I was seeking. I needed to understand my identity and purpose. Yes, I have been informed about you, sir. I have been alive for a considerable duration, yet I had lost direction along my journey. I couldn't understand the purpose of my existence anymore. Initially, I naively believed that it meant having complete control and being in a position of power, but I quickly realized how mistaken I was. The priestess appeared to be lost in a distant memory. I attempted to seek out strength in order to gain greater control over my surroundings. My quest led me to pursue the mythical Phenix, a creature associated with vitality and renewal. However, despite dedicating years to my search, I encountered only tales and legends surrounding the Phenix, without any concrete evidence of its extraordinary abilities or existence. Her story was progressing well, and it had the potential to become a captivating tale. Perhaps I am slightly partial, as I couldn't help but notice her slender and attractive figure, which her robe failed to conceal. One night, I had a profound dream in which the awe-inspiring burning Phenix revealed a vision to me. It depicted a potential future of complete devastation and disorder that loomed over all of us, not just mutants. It was a future so bleak that there seemed to be no hope for renewal or the emergence of new beginnings from the ruins. However, she also provided me with a newfound sense of optimism, a resolution to all of our challenges, and revealed the presence and whereabouts of her sole offspring, an unhatched egg, a child that never came to be, the extraordinary deity who would serve as our savior. Well, talk about a challenging situation, huh? Once she revealed the location of the egg and taught me the sacred ritual to restore its life, I realized that my unique ability to manipulate life force set me apart as one of the select few capable of successfully completing the process. So I assembled a group of like-minded individuals who shared my vision of making a positive impact on the world and sparking a revolution. Finally, after years of dedicated effort and the commitment of numerous individuals, we have achieved the long-awaited accomplishment of awakening you. Well, I always believed I was unique. But when she mentioned sacrificing humans, I suddenly became aware of my surroundings. I finally noticed the lifeless remains, resembling human bodies, lying next to the altar I was standing on. Should I feel sympathy for them? As a compassionate person, it's expected of me. However, deep down, I can't help but feel relieved that I am no longer burdened by their presence, even though it came at the cost of their lives. Oh no. Discussing a compromised sense of ethics. Now, with our assistance, you can ascend to your rightful position as the leader of this universe and elevate the mutants to their rightful status as the superior race. God Emperor Huh, sounds intriguing, but I must resist the allure of the dark side, even though there are tempting delights to be found, like her captivating presence that the mysterious robe she wears cannot conceal. I must maintain pure thoughts. However, even if I desired to, I would not possess the capabilities to fulfill their expectations of me as a messiah. I must clarify that I do not possess the reality-bending powers that they anticipate. I can confidently state this as I have made sincere efforts to utilize such abilities, albeit for the past 10 minutes, in an attempt to disrobe Celine, but regrettably, no results were achieved. So it seems that telekinesis or any other reality-bending powers are not currently available. Is there a cheat available for a new reincarnator, like a system or something? At that moment, I experienced an incredibly gratifying sound that was not Oni-chan. Ding! All functions are now active. The Supreme God system is now online. I was pleased to discover the system and equally taken aback. It offered me a way to enhance my abilities without encountering any obstacles. However, it also meant that the entity responsible for granting me the system could potentially monitor me like a subject in a laboratory at any given moment. However, I prefer to remain optimistic and avoid excessive analysis at this moment. I am determined to utilize this opportunity to enhance my skills rapidly, enabling me to navigate the challenges that life presents on a daily basis. I directed my attention once more to the blue transparent system screen that had materialized in my field of vision, in order to explore the various functions it provided. Status Benefits Inventory Pantheon, Locked, Quests. The interface is straightforward and user-friendly, although it was disappointing to find that the list does not include a store. However, it is important not to make hasty judgments based solely on appearances. In this particular situation, I focused my attention on carefully evaluating each of the options displayed on the screen. Status. Name. Titles. The first of his kind, the progenitor, a god of culture. Race. Divine being. Gender. Male, divinity. Locked. Faith points. Secured, benefits, exceptional physical abilities. The user possesses extraordinary physical capabilities that surpass those of ordinary beings in their universe. Their strength, speed, and durability far exceed natural levels, seemingly unattainable through any conventional training methods. Alpha physiology. The user possesses exceptional abilities that surpass those of their peers, effortlessly mastering skills and achieving remarkable growth with each new challenge, far surpassing the progress that others make through years of hard work. Extended lifespan. The user possesses a remarkable ability to live longer than the average human, granting them a supernatural longevity. The individual ages at a remarkably gradual pace, which may lead others to perceive them as seemingly immortal. Unfathomable intellect. The user possesses an innate resistance to memory manipulation, mental intrusion, and various psychic or empathic abilities. They are impervious to mental hallucinations, hypnosis, and deceitful tactics. Those with the perk will pose a challenge for mind controllers, as they will encounter extreme difficulty in controlling them. Mind readers, on the other hand, will only perceive static when attempting to read their minds. However, you have the ability to convey your thoughts and emotions to others, or share your memories if you so desire. Protected soul. The user possesses immunity to all soul-based abilities, rendering their souls impervious to manipulation, observation, absorption, destruction, trapping, sealing, or conversion into another form of soul. Allspeak. Thanks to this perk, I am able to communicate fluently in all of the languages of the 10 realms, Earth's dialects, and various other alien languages. Inventory. 1 entry-level gift pack, Pantheon. Secured. No quests available. Well, that was certainly intriguing. It's a mix of emotions for me. On one hand, I'm pleased with the impressive abilities I've acquired, but on the other hand, it's disappointing that certain functions remain inaccessible. You know what? I am going to take a professional approach and choose to be optimistic, appreciating what has been given to me instead of complaining like a spoiled brat. I appear to possess innate abilities, so there's that. In addition, the titles have a distinct and intriguing quality, particularly the final one. I take great pride in that. Perhaps they have some practical applications as well. I will likely discover the answer shortly. I appreciate the benefits of having a strong sense of control over my soul and mind, as it allows me to feel secure in knowing that I won't be easily influenced or manipulated without my consent. I also need to assess the capabilities of the supernatural physique perk to determine its current limits. Based on its description, it seems quite promising and likely to meet my expectations. The alpha physiology will be highly beneficial, allowing me to enhance my physical abilities at a faster rate and ensuring that I excel in strength among others in my race. Although I may be the only one of my particular background at the moment, so perhaps I should prioritize the creation of new divine offspring in order to unlock the Pantheon option in my menu or something, although I must admit I am currently too young to take on the responsibilities of fatherhood. Wait, how old am I again? Even the system isn't providing any personal details to me. Even my name is faded. Perhaps I should consider adopting the name Darkside to fully embrace the new god theme. Although, I do worry it might come across as a bit cringy. I also received a complimentary gift pack, which is why I appreciate systems that are generous. I strongly dislike those protagonists who misuse their systems, disregarding the valuable assistance they receive and deeming them worthless. I believe it would be more appropriate to open it at a later time, in a more private setting. Considering the uncertainty that lies ahead, I am unsure of the outcome once I decide to open it. Sir, are you feeling well? Celine approached me with concern as she noticed me lost in deep contemplation, my gaze fixed on nothing in particular. I may have already damaged my reputation as a mysterious and enigmatic individual in her presence by frequently drifting off into uncomfortable silence. No, I must project a more authoritative and commanding presence to maintain their loyalty. They can be helpful to me. After all, everyone has their strengths. Oh yes, I was actually considering how to properly acknowledge your dedication and effort. Tell me, what would you like as a reward? I have no desire for personal gain, my lord. It would be too self-centered of me. I kindly request your assistance in ensuring that individuals with mutant abilities, such as myself and my fellow brothers and sisters, no longer endure unnecessary hardships. I kindly request you to consider us as your subjects and help us escape the turmoil and suffering we are currently experiencing. It is important to consider the challenges that may arise in the future. A professional priestess gracefully gestures, her demeanor serious yet captivating. It seems that her focus is primarily on saving mutants rather than considering the well-being of others. Honestly, I also have a desire to assist the mutants here. They seem to be facing unfortunate circumstances, and there are many individuals among them who are attractive. However, my true motivation for helping them lies in rescuing them from their harsh destinies, not their physical appearance. They have to endure illegal experiments, xenophobic bacteria, witch trials, secret organizations that revel in torture, and humans who blindly spread hate against them for no apparent reason, among other things. The only hope they have of standing united against all these is if two leaders, who may have a secret relationship, come together. One aspires to be like Gandhi, while the other imitates Hitler. Wow, that sounds quite unpleasant. It's unfortunate that the mutants are consistently the ones who endure hardships. They lack a truly capable and influential leader at the helm, and I am determined to rectify this by becoming the leader they require. An exceptional individual, rescuing them from a harsh reality and leading them to a place of bliss. I understand, I possess a compassionate nature. However, I need to begin with smaller tasks initially. Instead of using force to assert my dominance over the world, I should focus on employing strategic methods to gain followers organically. I prefer to portray myself as a figure of authority, gaining the trust of others and assuming a leadership role, rather than resorting to villainous tactics in an attempt to dominate them. It is more effective to guide a large group of individuals by assuming the role of their protector and leader, rather than attempting to control them through sheer strength. Keeping this in mind, I was about to initiate a discussion with Celine on how to strategically conquer the world. However, just as I was about to do so, a system notification interrupted me. Ding! Task created. World choice detected. Please select one of the available options. 1. You are highly skilled and talented. Everyone should show respect to you, regardless of who they are. Being discreet and putting in diligent effort may not be your strong suit. Handle the situation with assertiveness. Task. Assemble a highly skilled team and strategically engage in a global conflict to assert dominance. Achieve dominance over more than 50% of the planet. Please note, the host has a time limit of 15 years to achieve this effect. Prize. Weapon card for the Leviathan God Killer Axe. You are highly skilled and intelligent. It's important to approach conflicts with a thoughtful and strategic mindset. Develop and enhance your skills to achieve success. Intelligence triumphs over physical strength in the end. Why use force to subjugate others when one can simply assert global dominance through lawful means? Technically. Task. Utilize your expertise, intelligence, and all available resources to establish and expand a highly successful business empire with a value of at least $1 trillion. Aim to attain significant control over the global financial landscape and establish influential connections, enabling the ability to exert considerable influence and potentially impact multiple governments. Note: the host has a time limit of 15 years to achieve this effect. Receive the Golden Rule of the Stars perk card as a reward. This is a new opportunity for you to thrive and excel, where you have the power to shape your own destiny. Rest assured, there are professionals who are dedicated to preventing catastrophic events like the end of the world. Take a moment to relax and enjoy a leisurely lifestyle. Task. Take a break, relax, and savor life. Please note that there is no time limit for this task. Reward. Gore the God Butcher relentlessly pursues and eliminates you in the most chilling manner imaginable. Additional note 1. Considering the host's first mission and the lengthy and intricate nature of the quest, rewards for the chosen option will be provided at the time of selection, rather than upon mission completion. If the mission is not completed within the specified time limit, all rewards will be revoked. There will be no penalties in such a case. Additional note 2. Punishments are not determined by the system, but rather are the likely outcomes of the host's decisions and behavior. Additional note 3. Given the conflicting options in this scenario and considering that the host has a preferred choice, only one can be chosen. Wow, this is quite surprising. I didn't expect the quests by the system to have this kind of choice-based format. Although I believe this option is superior because it not only provides choices, but also offers a reward in advance. Even if I fail to complete the mission, it won't have a significant impact on me. I won't face any penalties and I can still utilize my reward for the entire mission duration, retaining all the benefits it brings during this period. However, the third mission does raise some concerns as it seems to serve as a cautionary message from the system, suggesting that Gore may eventually target me for elimination, likely due to my divine nature. I hope it's the version portrayed by Christian Bale. That way, I can at least request him to do the well-known Sigma meme face for me before he attempts to harm me. Anyway, I believe I'll go with the second option. Although the Leviathan axe may seem impressive for slaying gods, I don't anticipate conquering Earth within the given time frame through warfare to be a simple task. The planet is already filled with numerous incredibly powerful gods and entities who are competing for control. I hope this reward meets your expectations. My future hinges on it, after all. I have selected option 2 feet, ding. The selection process is finished, and the second option has been chosen. Rewards are being distributed in a timely and efficient manner. Golden Rule of the Stars perk card has been added to your inventory. Please ensure that you have properly prepared and set up the equipment before using it. That was quite straightforward. Now I refocus my attention on Celine, who stands before me with a noticeably uncomfortable expression as I once again space out. I am willing to fulfill your request as a gesture of gratitude for rousing me from my slumber. However, I would greatly appreciate the assistance of both you and your group in this endeavor. Although I had already committed to the mission, I see this as an opportunity to further strengthen her loyalty towards me. Pledge your allegiance to me, and I will ensure that all mutants receive fair treatment. She was filled with joy as she knelt down without hesitation, and so did all the other individuals present. We pledge our unwavering dedication and commitment to you, my esteemed leader. With every ounce of our being, we shall fulfill your desires. This declaration echoed throughout the room, evoking an atmosphere reminiscent of an exclusive and clandestine organization. Wow, that was quite cringeworthy. It almost made me visibly cringe. However, it was crucial to create an authentic and divine impression for them. After all, I don't want them to betray me in the near future. I hope to establish a strong sense of trust and loyalty among my followers to ensure that I can rely on their support without any concerns of betrayal. Stand tall and exude confidence, because from this point forward, there is no need to bow down to anyone else. Our mission is to not only dominate this realm, but to expand our influence to many others, methodically and steadily. At present, we strategize and steadily enhance our capabilities, I confidently proclaim to my followers. Celine, please make arrangements for me to relax. We can resume our planning once I am properly attired for the occasion, I instruct her, realizing that I am still standing on fragile ground while only partially covered by a robe. Yes, sir. We have already made arrangements for a luxurious room for you to relax in during your stay at this magnificent estate. Oh, how wonderful. This appears to be a mansion, and it seems that this particular room could be considered its basement. Discussing the generalizations surrounding old mansions. Anyway, this, my lord, thing is quickly becoming tiresome. I need to come up with a more fitting name for myself. Yes, I understand. Don't call me, my lord, anymore. Call me by my new name from now on, Naruto. Or you can call me, Master, sometimes, I said jokingly. I considered selecting a more impressive and sophisticated name, such as Darkside, Yuga-Khan, or Korn. However, I quickly realized that the name I choose will become a lasting part of my identity, and I want to avoid any potential embarrassment or discomfort associated with it. So I went with my creative instincts and simply selected a name that resonated with my identity. It had a more professional tone than divine, but it still had my personal touch. Additionally, there is a section for titles where I can receive cringy nicknames, so I most likely won't be disappointed in that aspect. As you wish, sir. Wait, she took that seriously, I meant that as a joke. Wow, I should check off another item from my bucket list, having someone address me with respect. Please follow me, I will guide you to your room, she said, leading me out of the ritual chamber towards the upper part of the castle where my room was located. We arrived at the most impressive door on the second floor of the mansion. It had a distinct contrast from the basement. The mansion exuded an air of opulence and impeccable cleanliness. The redecoration had a contemporary touch, although some may argue that the style of 1996 can still be considered modern. She graciously welcomed me into the spacious bedroom, likely the master bedroom. I apologize if the accommodations do not meet your expectations. We were unaware of your preferences for luxury. If you are unsatisfied, I am prepared to accept any punishment you deem appropriate. Her words were delivered in a matter-of-fact manner, yet her striking beauty and alluring figure painted a vivid and sensual image in my mind. Should I just reprimand her? I mean, the room was incredibly lavish, but the idea of disciplining her alluring physique was quite arousing. It's essential that you take control of it, Naruto. It's not the appropriate time at the moment. You will have numerous opportunities to fully appreciate your attractive physique in the future. However, for the time being, please exercise self-restraint. It's acceptable. Your performance was commendable, considering your human nature. I am content for the time being, I remarked swiftly, giving the impression that I was neither pleased nor disappointed. This will help her improve for future occasions in order to meet my expectations. I'll ensure that once I have finished cultivating loyalty in her, she will willingly offer her body, mind, and spirit to me. Oh, and I would like to introduce someone to you. Vanessa, please come here, she said, signaling for a woman to enter the room. The woman swiftly entered, bowing her head, but her appearance was far from ordinary. She had a polished blue face concealed within the hood, with strands of white hair subtly visible. I was intrigued to observe her true appearance, as she clearly stood out from the ordinary and likely possessed unique qualities. "This is Vanessa Carlyle, sir." Naruto was incredibly taken aback, to say the least. He never imagined that he would have the opportunity to meet Deadpool's girlfriend, who was a member of his cult. How did he come to the realization that she was destined to become Deadpool's romantic partner in the future? He believed that there were no other characters in Marvel with light blue skin, white hair, and the Carlyle surname. In the comics, she possessed a power similar to Mystique, but with the added ability to not only mimic appearances but also copy other powers. "This is Vanessa. She is a highly skilled member of our group, known for her exceptional abilities. She will be dedicated to meeting all of your needs. If you have any requests or requirements, simply inform her and she will make every effort to fulfill them," Celine informed. "Truly, anything I desire. I can envision numerous qualities and attributes that I would desire in her. He. Obviously, Naruto, being a mature individual, kept his thoughts to himself and maintained a stoic expression in the presence of the two attractive priestesses. "I should depart, Master Naruto. I have numerous preparations to attend to in order to ensure a seamless and uninterrupted ascension to power." "All right. We'll reconvene tomorrow to discuss our future plans," he said to the woman as she respectfully exited the room. Honestly, Naruto was feeling a bit fatigued, not so much in his body but in his mind. Experiencing a rebirth within a perilous fictional realm can certainly lead to a profound sense of self-doubt. He then recalled Vanessa and turned to address the blue-skinned mutant next to him, suggesting, "It might be a good idea for you to get some rest too. I'll reach out if I require your assistance." After that, he decided to freshen up by taking a shower and removing the sticky egg residue from his body. He didn't find it appealing, but it made him uneasy. During his shower, he realized the importance of conducting experiments and familiarizing himself with the system. "Hello, system. Are you there?" There was no response. It's likely that his system lacked an AI or similar capabilities. He requested his system to display his status screen. He visited the inventory page and observed that the Golden Rule card and the beginner package were still available. Upon choosing the Golden Rule card, he was presented with various options for equipping it and the ability to access additional information about it. He chose to access additional information about the card. Presenting details about the chosen card. Golden Rule of the Stars. The user possesses the remarkable skill of Golden Rule, which has destined them to a life of abundant wealth and prosperity. This measurement does not determine the amount of gold present in an individual's body, but rather assesses the likelihood of attracting wealth in one's life. The generous benefits offered by this perk will bring immense wealth to the user, ensuring a life free from financial worries. The user possesses a top-tier position, with the power to establish a vast empire on a global level. He is widely regarded as an exceptional ruler, known for his remarkable leadership and commanding presence in both military and organizational settings. With their exceptional abilities, the perk elevates the user's influence over people to a level that transcends popularity or skill, almost resembling sorcery. It also serves as a bonus for acquiring valuable goods, a stroke of luck that brings rare and valuable items to the user. Wow, that is surprisingly powerful. This skill has the potential to lead to financial success, influence, and power. Completing the mission will be much easier now. Naruto was pleased with his current situation and efficiently equipped the perk card from his inventory. Golden Rule of the Stars perk card equipped. I don't feel that different, Naruto thought to himself as he attempted to catch a glimpse of his reflection in the mirror. He was curious to see if there were any noticeable changes in his appearance, although he couldn't quite recall how he looked before. The reflection in the mirror caught him off guard. It was undoubtedly the most stunning face he had ever laid eyes upon. His face exuded an air of utmost perfection, transcending traditional notions of masculinity or femininity. He was aware that his fame would extend to both women and men. His physique also appeared flawless. It had an ideal balance of fat and muscles. It was difficult to ascertain his age based on his appearance. He appeared to be quite young, possibly in his teens or early 20s. It relied on the mindset and personal preference of the individuals observing him. I'm curious about the extent of my personal growth. He hadn't seen his face before in this new life, so he had no point of reference to comprehend his transformation. He couldn't even recall his appearance in his past life. I believe it's time for me to cease complaining about my memory loss. He then opened the beginner package as well, starting with the beginner pack. You have obtained low cosmic awareness, a divine spirit body, and a sunstone crystal. Limited cosmic awareness. The user possesses the ability to perceive significant global events on a smaller scale. Expert spirit form. The user possesses the ability to assume the form of a divine spirit, granting them the remarkable ability to effortlessly pass through physical attacks and defy certain natural laws of reality. Sunstone. The technology of sunstone crystals, originating from Krypton, has the ability to perform the following. Capable of storing a vast amount of information. Can be programmed to create anything the user desires. Can be utilized to create a planet. Can be utilized to construct spacecraft capable of intergalactic travel and even obliterating entire planets. Its technology has the potential to be utilized in the development of various other technologies. These crystals have the potential to serve as a power source, enabling a unique form of advanced nuclear fusion. Naruto considered this harvest to be incredibly fortunate, particularly due to the sunstone technology. With this new advancement, he envisioned the possibility of building his own space city, much like the Asgardians and the Inhumans. If he ever decided to establish a mutant country or something, he wouldn't have to rely on a living island. He always struggled to comprehend how all the mutants in Marvel managed to coexist on such a tiny island. Although the current population of mutants on the island is manageable, it is clear that this situation will pose significant challenges in the future. Indeed, real estate is a reliable asset that consistently appreciates in value over time. Note: this line was actually spoken by Lex Luthor himself while he was utilizing one of these crystals. The divine spirit body is highly effective for defense, particularly against the formidable strength-based characters of Marvel. The cosmic awareness perk at the lower tier could be compared to an enhanced spider sense, although it falls short of the immense power possessed by Odin or Heimdall's vision, or the advanced cosmic awareness of other prominent beings in the multiverse. He promptly equipped the 2 perk cards and decided to keep the sunstone crystal in his inventory for the time being. He would require it in the future as he embarked on building his own nation. Oh, he had certainly intended to do that at some point. However, at this moment, it is crucial for him to possess power, fame, and influence in order to attract and recruit the future citizens who will be under his rule in his upcoming country. Equipped with the Low Cosmic Awareness perk card. Perk card equipped. Divine Spirit Body. He then started to explore his inventory function, efficiently managing the storage and retrieval of items. It was enjoyable. Inventory is a highly effective cheat on its own. In the future, he would ensure widespread distribution. After finishing his shower, he stepped out with that line of thought in mind. He needed to get some rest. He had experienced a challenging day, to say the least. Initially, he had a clear train of thought, but all of that vanished from his mind the moment he laid eyes on the chaos unfolding in his room, particularly on his bed. Vanessa was still in the room, patiently waiting for him on his bed, wearing revealing attire. "What would you like me to do first, sir?" the attractive mutant inquired. "What do you mean? Why are you still here?" Naruto inquired, his tone serious. He was feeling a bit overwhelmed internally, but he didn't want to display it outwardly. "Well, Miss Selene mentioned that you may have certain requirements that are common among male gods, and I am here to assist you in fulfilling them. That is the purpose of my presence here, after all." The way she spoke those words with an adorable and innocent charm nearly melted Naruto's heart. Despite this, she was still a long way from the mature adult form she would eventually have when she started dating Deadpool. At the present moment, she was still young, likely in her late teens or early 20s. Currently, she is just entering adulthood. "You don't have to do that, Vanessa. I won't pressure you into anything. Actually, I'm curious about your reasons for joining this organization." The blue-skinned seductress appeared somewhat let down by Naruto's decision not to engage in any intimate activities at the moment. However, Naruto, a self-assured individual, chose to disregard her disappointment. "My parents had a background in law enforcement. They tragically lost their lives when I was still a child. A notorious underworld figure known as Kingpin had them eliminated for daring to oppose him during the early days of his criminal empire. I wanted to take action against him, but as a young girl, my abilities were limited. I was forcibly trafficked by his associates and ended up working in a brothel in Boston. I believed my life had reached its end, and it seemed unlikely that I would ever attain the justice my parents deserved. However, my encounter with Lady Selene changed everything. She acknowledged my unique abilities and presented me with an opportunity for liberation. I have acquired it. She instilled a strong belief in you. I am fully committed to assisting you in any way possible, even if it means going to great lengths to ensure your satisfaction. Wow, that's quite an appealing offer. I'm almost tempted to accept it, perhaps. At this moment, Vanessa was on the verge of tears. Her eyes, which usually shine brightly, were now red and swollen. The topic of her parents was always a sensitive one for her, as she deeply missed them. There's no need to cry, Vanessa. I assure you that I will assist you in seeking retribution in due time. I assure you, I will ensure that Kingpin meets his demise at your own hands, he promised her, aiming to calm her down. Naruto displayed self-centered behavior, yet he couldn't bear to see a distressed young woman, particularly when he had intentions of pursuing her romantically later on. In any case, I may soon find myself in conflict with Kingpin due to the nature of my plans, so it's not as if I would need to go out of my way to help her or anything. Vanessa was taken aback by his response. She hadn't anticipated such a readily offered assistance. In that instant, she felt a sense of reassurance in her choice to join this organization and follow this extraordinary leader. She was overcome with such strong emotions that she couldn't restrain herself and impulsively kissed Naruto. What the? This is my first kiss. It's such an incredible experience. Wow, her lips feel incredibly soft. Even her tongue has a gentle and supple texture. However, I'm unsure if I should continue. If I do, I fear that I won't be able to control myself. My primal instincts might take over. As Naruto contemplated his next course of action, he was abruptly alerted by the sound of a system notification. Ding! Mission generated. World choice detected. Please select one of the following options. 1. You are highly skilled. You prioritize your own satisfaction. It is expected that women should prioritize your satisfaction. Task. Experience an unforgettable encounter with Vanessa, where she caters to your every desire and ensures your utmost satisfaction. Please be aware that the host has a time limit of 8 hours to complete this quest. Reward. Perk card for achieving perfect sexual compatibility. You possess immense power and abilities, yet you also have the capacity to experience life as a mortal. It is worth considering whether you should simply observe while a woman takes charge, or if you would find greater enjoyment by taking matters into your own hands. Objective. Exert control over Vanessa and provide her with an overwhelming amount of satisfaction, to the point where she becomes completely overwhelmed. Demonstrate your exceptional abilities. Please be aware that the host has a time limit of 8 hours to complete this quest. Perk card. Touch of Nirvana, reward. 3. We should treat this person's future wife with utmost respect. Task. Treat Vanessa with respect and support her in finding her future life partner, ensuring her happiness in the long run. Please be advised that there is no time limit for this task. Caution. In the future, Deadpool may pursue and eliminate you under the belief that you are involved in a nefarious organization that exploited his beloved wife, Vanessa. Additional Note 1. If the mission is not completed within the specified time limit, no penalties will be imposed. Additional Note 2. Punishments are not administered by the system, but rather are the likely consequences of the host's decisions and behavior. Naruto was taken aback. What kind of choices are these? He expected a supreme god system that would assist him in becoming the most powerful god in Marvel or something. Instead, it is attempting to entice him towards a more indulgent lifestyle. The system indicates that despite his efforts to act ethically and not exploit Vanessa, it is highly likely that Deadpool will ultimately cause his demise. Furthermore, how could Deadpool possibly defeat a deity of such immense power? Wasn't the god supposed to possess strength far surpassing that of mere mortals like Deadpool? Wait, perhaps Deadpool has the ability to eliminate me. He recalled a comic called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where Deadpool managed to defeat numerous formidable and significant characters in the franchise, including Thor and Ghost Rider. Considering his circumstances, it would be wise for him to assess his strength sooner rather than later. It would be unfortunate for him to discover, in a crucial moment, that his perceived strength does not match reality. Regardless, Naruto cannot afford to pass up an opportunity like this. It is crucial for him to enhance his strength and acquire abilities that may prove valuable in the future, regardless of how questionably they may be labeled. Now, the question is which option he chooses. It's worth noting that he can select 2 choices at the same time, and the first two missions seem like they can be completed together. Let's hope this works. With optimism, he attempts to mentally consider both his first and second choices simultaneously. Ding! The selection process is complete. The first and second options have been chosen. Certainly. I chose these quests based on the skills I will gain as a reward. I have no intention of engaging in inappropriate activities with Vanessa, despite her attractive appearance. Absolutely not. Naruto then focused his attention on Vanessa once more and noticed her looking at him, her cheeks turning a shade of red. Perhaps I will find some enjoyment in this. Let's discuss the importance of maintaining a high level of professionalism in the workplace. Allow me to fulfill your desires, sir, Vanessa whispered with a hint of seductive anticipation. Certainly, give it your all. If you perform admirably, I will lead you to the pinnacle of pure delight, Naruto stated with a solemn expression. He was skillfully manipulating her, ensuring that she remained unaware of the stark contrast between his initial passive enjoyment and his subsequent forceful dominance. Naruto reclined on the bed as Vanessa approached him, initiating a series of affectionate kisses that began at his ears and gradually moved towards his jawline, culminating in a tender kiss on his lips. They exchanged light kisses, gradually intensifying into a passionate embrace where their lips fervently met, each seeking to savor the taste of the other. His hands were firmly placed at her waist, holding onto her sides. He had a strong desire to maintain self-control and focus on their connection. He looked forward to a moment where he could assert his dominance in a respectful and consensual manner. You taste delicious," she moaned, savoring every bite. He didn't have time to respond as she lay on his body, her breasts pressing on his chest, and French kissed him with intensity. Their tongues danced without stopping. She even started sucking his tongue into her mouth, as if she were blowing him. "Time to take it to the next level," she whispered huskily as she stood up and removed her dress to show some seductive underwear. He wasn't sure how large those boobs were, but they were certainly more than a handful. Her legs were so smooth and lengthy, they could stretch for days. She unfastens her bra, revealing her nicely formed breasts and a pink nipple. Naruto removed his clothing as well, leaving him with a painfully evident erection. She proceeded to descend on him and kiss his enormous dragon, licking it from base to top, before taking the head in her mouth and sucking as if her life depended upon it. She didn't simply stop there. She proceeded to insert the full 10-inch shaft into her warm mouth, sliding her tongue to stimulate the sensitive organ. As she continues to do this for some time, he comes dangerously near to coming and discharges all he has into her mouth, which she eagerly gulps down. She then placed his shoaling back in her mouth and licked his manhood clean. First quest completed. Rewards are delivered. The Perfect Sexual Compatibility perk card has been inserted in the inventory. Really, it's already accomplished. I assumed it would need actual penetration to fulfill the assignment, but I suppose the goal was just feeling any form of pleasure from her without doing anything like a king. Naruto was overjoyed that he had completed his first mission so quickly. He promptly went to his inventory and reviewed the perk description, displaying information about the chosen card. Perfect Sexual Compatibility. This perk allows the user to treble the amount of sexual pleasure he can provide to others. His manhood will also automatically change to the optimal size for every lady in order to provide her with the maximum pleasure. This also significantly improves the user's sexual stamina. User also has control over his own fertility rate. Naruto was really pleased with this and instantly fitted the perk. Perfect Sexual Compatibility perk card is equipped. Naruto opened his eyes only to see luminous red eyes staring at him with hunger and longing. Her inflamed, burning red face tempted him to commit a crime. It was his time to go wild over her now. "I want to be on top now." Before Vanessa could reply, Naruto was on top. He took her lips in his and plunged his quick tongue into her wet mouth. As his tongue taunted her gentle tongue, he proceeded to use one of his hands to do his magic between her legs. This made her quite happy. Her ecstasy reached a critical point in an instant, her body arched, and a dam of love fluid burst. The whole room was filled with steamy noises of heavy breathing and moans. Her mind was clouded with pleasure. However, Naruto did not give her any time. He wanted to hear her begging to stop, not just for the system mission, but also because the ravenous, hungry beast within him had emerged. So he aggressively grabbed one of her large mounds and squeezed her pink nipple without breaking the kiss. Vanessa likewise had no idea what was going on. She felt a current flow through her body, giving her complete pleasure. The pressure was like the last straw, breaking her dam of new liquids once again. She tightened her legs around Naruto's waist and locked her wrists behind her back. Naruto, too, did not just sit back. After determining the ideal angle to proceed with his plan, he positioned his exploding veiny dragon at the entrance to her moist cave. As he shoved his mighty rod into her sensitive folds, Vanessa felt like her body was on fire, but instead of pain, it was giving her mind-numbing pleasure. Hearing her moans, Naruto started pumping in and out of her tight hole with speed and expertise. Ah, too deep. There was a minor ripping sound, and a small amount of blood poured out. Wait, she was a virgin. I assumed she lost her virginity in Boston when she was pushed into prostitution. I presumed she was rescued by Celine before it occurred, right? With the blessing of his freshly obtained perk, his manhood filled her whole cave flawlessly, leaving no empty space. Vanessa felt a combination of agony and pleasure. Her wrapped legs tightened around him, and her claws clamped into his back. Her walls tightened, and her small valley filled with love fluid, which was kept from spilling by the plug that was obstructing the exit. Too tight. Naruto felt incredible pleasure and ease surge through him as well, but he kept himself back. He shifted his waist backward before going forward again. As he adjusted his waist, he heard Vanessa's little seductive murmurs. He proceeded to crash into her walls while thrusting in and out of her. He kissed her lips and grasped her delicate breasts as his rod drove into her like a furious bull. Another wave of liquid poured from her caverns. Naruto wasn't finished. He tossed her onto the bed to get a better glimpse of her rear. He whacked her plump ass, which juggled and got somewhat crimson. Vanessa also groaned at it. He hoisted her plump ass and began rotating his waist back and forth. The sounds of naked skin striking one another, along with moist noises of flesh, echoed throughout the room. He proceeded to up his speed even more. The feeling was too great, and she gushed her fluids once again. She had forgotten how many times she has cummed. Arg! I'm coming again. Naruto eventually achieved his pinnacle. With one more push, he unleashed all of his masculine fluids into her already packed wet cave. Naruto then lay on top of her. Both of them were breathing heavily. She glanced at his face with love and delight. I've never felt such intense feelings. Thank you for a fantastic night. Huh? What do you mean? We're just getting started. Get ready for round 2 now. Naruto was still quite active because to his new perk, and he didn't have to worry about accidentally getting Vanessa pregnant. The night was yet new, and his heart was filled with passion and need. Vanessa was going to have a very long night. Naruto awoke the following morning feeling somewhat sleepy. He still believed there was a little possibility that everything was a dream, that he'd wake up in his native world and resume his usual existence. But he was still in the so-called Marvel universe, resting on an exceptionally comfy bed in an extremely lavish chamber while holding an extremely hot beauty. To be honest, I'm not sure whether I'm unfortunate to be reborn in a hazardous verse like Marvel or happy to be reincarnated at all and have the opportunity to sleep with an extraordinarily gorgeous and exotic lady like Vanessa on my first day. By the way, do gods even act like me, sleeping with one of their followers on the first day of meeting him? At the very least, I'm still better than those Olympians. That was correct. If one ever wanted to be worse than the Greek gods, they had to put in a lot of effort. While he was having these profound thoughts, he was interrupted by a series of alerts from his system. Second mission done. Rewards are delivered. The Touch of Nirvana perk card has been put in the inventory. Naruto prayed it wasn't another sex-related talent. Wooing the attractive girls in this poem is fine, but he needed to strengthen himself as well to ensure his survival and the protection of those around him. After all, he does not intend to die again in this new existence. He'd rather FCUK death than have it do the same to him, pun intended. He attempted to see details regarding the new reward card, Touch of Nirvana. This perk enables the user to cause extreme pleasure or misery to the target just by touching it. The talent may transport any creature with the sense of touch to paradise or hell with a single touch. Extreme feelings may also overwhelm the target's senses and cognition, causing them to fall asleep or into a coma. Naruto deadpanned at his system screen after reading about the bonus. Another pleasure skill, huh? Why aren't I surprised? Well, At the very least, I can use it to torment my foes or to knock them out in combat without causing too much damage. With this, he equipped the perk card from his inventory. Touch of Nirvana, perk card is equipped. At this moment, Vanessa started to awaken. She opened her eyes to see Naruto staring at her face. Her cheeks flushed scarlet, not because she was embarrassed of what they had done the night before, but because Naruto in his nude form seemed to be the most beautiful and flawless person she had ever seen. He is undoubtedly a deity, isn't he? Even with my mimic talents, I doubt I could totally replicate his appearance with such supernatural charm, she thought to herself. Naruto, having no clue what she was thinking, instructed her to immediately wash up and prepare. They had a meeting to attend and a plan to make. After all, global dominance is not as simple as FFS portray it. He then proceeded to freshen himself up. By the way, do gods pee or shit? I mean, I did not do either yesterday. Let's try, shall we? And so he went to the restroom to conduct his critical experiments for the advancement of humanity. That was the day Naruto discovered that gods do not need to pee or crap. At least he didn't. This made him quite thrilled since it meant he would never have an emergency again. When he returned to his room, he discovered Vanessa had already departed. He, too, came out of his room to discover Celine. He needed to begin his preparations as soon as possible. He discovered her in the living room, standing there, most likely waiting for him. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well last night. She spoke with a blank look on her face, but her tone was almost disappointed. Naruto questioned if she knew what transpired between him and Vanessa last night. Is she unhappy that I slept with Vanessa despite being a god? She should understand that gods have wants. Naruto thought to himself. Honestly, he didn't care. This was his second life, his second opportunity to appreciate things. He would be damned if he didn't use it for anything he desired. All of our major members have already come and are waiting to meet with you in the conference room, Master. If you follow me, I'll take you to them. Following her, Naruto entered the conference room of the mansion. The venue was quite spacious, accommodating a seating arrangement for approximately 100 individuals, despite the fact that it was not even half filled. Good morning, everyone. I am Celine Gallio, the leader of the Vermilion Society. Over the past few decades, I have dedicated myself to the mission of bringing our prophesied Savior and God to life, with the invaluable support of all of you. Today, I am thrilled to announce that our collective efforts have borne fruit, and we have achieved our goal. There was a palpable sense of anticipation among the participants now. I introduce to you, Naruto Uzumaki, a figure of great significance and reverence. There was a sudden hush among everyone present. They never expected to witness the presence of a divine being. They were impressed by his charm and beauty. Well, it appears that the Golden Rule is functioning effectively. Now I realize that I should have selected a more impactful and memorable name for myself. Naruto doesn't have the qualities necessary for success in show business. Perhaps I should consider selecting a stage name that exudes a sense of professionalism and aligns seamlessly with the overarching theme of this superhero universe. Hello, everyone, Naruto began. Wow, I sound like a spiritual leader now, although I suppose I am one at the moment, being a deity and all, he pondered to himself. It is high time that mutants are no longer subjected to the unjust treatment inflicted upon them by humans. The prolonged suppression and mistreatment of innocent mutants must come to an end. Enough is enough. His speech, although not extraordinary, had a profound impact on the audience. The Golden Rule perk ensured that even this modest speech resonated with people and captured their attention. The impact of his words, combined with his captivating charm, deeply touched their hearts. I assure you, as a professional, I am committed to liberating all mutants from the current state of oppression and ensuring justice for them in the near future. However, I require your assistance in achieving this goal. I urge each and every one of you to dedicate yourselves wholeheartedly to this cause, so that when the time comes, every mutant worldwide will realize that they have a support system and can rely on us to help them escape their oppressive circumstances and find true happiness. After I finished my impromptu speech, there was a resounding applause. I witnessed individuals who were genuinely moved, with tears streaming down their faces. Naruto had clearly underestimated the immense power of his Golden Rule. He was aiming to cultivate a compassionate and benevolent image as a leader among his mutant followers, rather than adopting an arrogant and domineering approach. And the Golden Rule perk ensured that he was perceived as a merciful deity. Following the impactful speech, Selene proceeded to introduce him to the various participants of the meeting, predominantly leaders of mutant factions striving for transformative change in the current treatment of mutants. He was familiar with a few of them, while others were completely unfamiliar. One of the individuals he identified was Callisto, the recently appointed leader of the Morlocks. The Morlocks were the largest mutant organization under his authority. The others consisted of wealthy backers funding the secret society, as well as select groups of mutants with influential connections backing them. After much anticipation, a comprehensive long-term plan was finally initiated to promote acceptance and improve the societal standing of mutants. Naruto understood that it would be impossible to remove every single mutant in order to establish his own nation. What is the reason? It's a straightforward matter, as the number of mutants being born among the general population continues to increase. He speculated that a significant portion of the population would eventually develop extraordinary abilities, similar to the mutants in the BNHA/MHA universe who possess quirks. Even if it doesn't occur within a few centuries, it will certainly occur within a millennium. It is highly likely that mutants are indeed the next stage of human evolution. Life always manages to evolve, as it is crucial for survival. In the future, it is likely that ordinary humans without special abilities will become a minority and gradually fade away. It is crucial to ensure that mutants are not unjustly labeled as evil, but rather, they are granted the rightful recognition they deserve in society. His plans focused on building a solid foundation, gaining influence, and strengthening his position for his future empire. He will utilize his extensive knowledge, talents, and resources to ensure that he can achieve all of his goals in this lifetime. Less than, Pav Selene Gallio. Greater than I have been absolutely thrilled over the past few days as I have witnessed the culmination of my life's work. I have existed for approximately 17,000 years, however, I have never experienced such emotions before. I have always felt a sense of emptiness, as if I lacked a clear sense of purpose. I have traveled extensively around the world in search of my life's purpose, hoping to discover the meaning of my existence. However, my quest has thus far proven fruitless. So I had mistakenly believed that my purpose in life was to govern the world, to be its ruler. However, I required additional strength as I was aware of the existence of beings with greater power than mine. It was clear that I couldn't face them all alone. That is why I began my search for the legendary Phenix. It is believed that it can grant individuals extraordinary abilities beyond imagination. I desired that authority. However, despite extensive searching, I was unable to find any leads. I initially came across stories and myths, but then everything took a different turn. A profound revelation came to me in my dreams, unveiling a secret that had the potential to revolutionize the world. It mentioned its only child. It described him as someone who should not exist, who never existed, and who will never exist. I didn't comprehend the subject matter, nor did I make an effort to do so. I had no right to question the wisdom of immortal, all-powerful entities like the Phenix. However, I still had reservations about the entire situation. Despite my previous ambitions of world domination, I now realized the importance of a more mature and responsible approach. However, it provided me with glimpses of the future, albeit not the entire future. I witnessed numerous conflicts, an abundance of violence, and an overwhelming loss of life. I witnessed individuals with a deadly demeanor taking lives. People nowadays refer to such things as robots. I observed their actions involving the hunting of mutants, occasional harm to humans, and even attempts to bring about the destruction of the planet. I witnessed a devastating event where a crimson surge decimated countless mutants, resembling ants being crushed under a boot. Additionally, a violet behemoth eradicated half of the universe's population with a single gesture. I witnessed an individual donning eccentric vintage attire, exerting control over the world as if it were a mere marionette, treating our lives with a sense of amusement. And then, I beheld a dark, tempestuous cloud engulfing everything, bringing about the demise of our entire universe. It was quite a daunting experience, realizing that I had no control over preventing those things from happening. However, the Phenix provided me with a solution. It presented the world with a precious gift in the form of its own son. She informed me that he had the potential to be our savior, not just safeguarding us mutants, but also rescuing the world from its impending catastrophe. After she demonstrated the location of the egg and the ritual for nurturing it to hatch, I followed her instructions precisely. I assembled a group of individuals who shared a common vision, mutants who were seeking change and yearned for something to believe in. I provided them with a new sense of hope, a figure to rally behind, our Messiah. It was quite challenging. After years of dedicated effort, meticulous preparation, and numerous sacrifices, we have achieved our goal. Our Savior has arrived at last. He had a captivating appearance and appeared to become even more stunning over time. Efficient and punctual, he exuded an aura of authority and resilience. I must admit, I had anticipated some form of recognition for my diligent efforts. However, upon encountering him, I realized the true reward I desired. I desired his assistance. Perhaps, in some hidden recess of my heart, I entertained the notion of being his queen. However, I was well aware that such a possibility was simply out of reach. I am just a mutant, while he is a mutant god. However, when I witnessed Vanessa emerging from Master's bedroom the following morning with rumpled attire, tousled hair, and a bashful expression, it became evident to me what had transpired. I was disappointed that I couldn't attend and be the first to spend time with him. I was not satisfied with my performance. Maybe I should have been more assertive, more adventurous, more transparent. Unfortunately, what has occurred cannot be changed. But I will ensure that I am the next person he chooses to spend the night with. I won't let any other person surpass me again. The speech delivered by Master that day was truly remarkable. It appeared as though a highly skilled individual had arrived to enlighten us disadvantaged mutants. The experience was truly awe-inspiring. It was exceptional. Furthermore, the plans he made were truly exceptional. What he wanted to do was straightforward. Instead of trying to assert our dominance over humans, we will focus on presenting ourselves as their natural superiors. We will demonstrate our exceptional abilities, causing others to envy and yearn for the same powers. They will hope that their offspring inherit extraordinary traits, rather than being ordinary like themselves. Instead of facing persecution, our accomplishments will be recognized and celebrated. However, acquiring the necessary resources and establishing valuable connections and influence will be crucial. That is why our mentor advised us to establish our own company in order to achieve those goals. The master gave it the name Meta Platforms. It was an impressive name, befitting of a master. He mentioned the possibility of changing the name, Mutants, to Meta, in the future, as he believes the term, mutant, doesn't convey a sense of health or friendliness. He is highly driven, as one would expect from someone of his caliber. Currently, Meta solely operates as an investment company. Currently, our focus lies in investing and acquiring controlling stakes in small companies and startups, such as Amazon, eBay, Nvidia, Yahoo, the Life Foundation, Hammer Industries, and similar businesses. We also started investing in a few well-known companies such as Microsoft, Apple, Stark Industries, Oscorp, PIM Technologies, Baxter, Trask Industries, Daily Bugle, Rand Corporation, and Roxxon Corporation. Given our limited financial resources, we prioritized supporting smaller companies rather than pursuing well-established ones. However, in the near future, we plan to expand our operations into waste management, construction, banking, entertainment, and other sectors. This expansion will occur once we have accumulated sufficient funds. Master emphasized the importance of these fundamental preparations for our future endeavors. He is eager to implement his plans and launch our flagship product once we secure sufficient financial support and gain influence over public perception. It will begin to permanently alter the way ordinary people perceive individuals with powers. However, I am unsure of how he plans to accomplish that. Most individuals only dedicate a few hours each day to consuming news through television or newspapers. It may not be as straightforward to have a significant impact on them through those platforms within such a limited time frame. After all, we don't have access to a widely used platform that we can expertly navigate to subtly influence people's opinions without their awareness. Anyway, moving on from these mundane business matters, my superior also instructed me to gather information on various other mutant organizations that currently exist. I informed him about the metal-controlling mutant known as Magneto, who leads a group of mutants with terrorist tendencies. Additionally, I mentioned an elderly, disabled mutant teacher who goes by the name Professor X, and his efforts to mold his students into obedient soldiers. The master appeared quite entertained upon receiving that information and even gave me a gentle pat on the head. Perhaps there is still an opportunity for me to establish a connection with him. Several years passed. Less than, Pav Raven Darkholme, also known as Mystique, greater than. Irene. This is becoming excessive. You're aware of the detrimental impact that utilizing your abilities is having on your well-being. Your physical condition is reaching its limit. I've repeatedly implored you to refrain from relying on your foresight. I sternly expressed to my spouse, Irene. She had been making a conscious effort to utilize her abilities more frequently as of late, driven by a deep concern that neglecting them could lead to dire consequences for the world, with no one to caution the people about the impending danger. I am currently feeling quite frustrated with my life. Lately, Magneto has been giving orders to me and the rest of the Brotherhood as if we were his personal assistants rather than his subordinates. His behavior is becoming increasingly erratic with each passing day. I used to admire his commitment to improving the status of mutants in society, but lately, his actions have taken a turn towards authoritarianism rather than the transformative leadership he once embodied. Recently, he claimed to have discovered rumors of a tomb of a mutant god in Egypt. He has developed a strong interest in the myth and has been utilizing all of our resources to locate the rumored god tomb. Xavier, however, has been attempting to assemble a group of young mutants for a specific purpose. From what I've gathered, it seems that he has gone so far as to give them names starting with the first letter of his own name, X-Men. It's truly remarkable how self-absorbed some individuals can be. Why is the name X-Men chosen instead of a more gender-neutral option like women or another name? Sometimes, I truly believe that I am the most intelligent one among the three of us. It's not that, Raven. I didn't use my powers. I'm feeling weak because I'm getting older, just like everyone else, Irene interrupted my thoughts. Regarding the ability to foresee the future, she informed me that she did not, or rather, she could not. What are you talking about? Why wasn't I informed about this earlier? How long has this been going on? I asked my wife, seeking clarification. Please remain calm. I intended to inform you, but I was hoping my abilities would naturally return. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. Regarding the duration of my inability to foresee the future, it hasn't been very long. It has only been a few months. How did this happen, Irene? I always knew your powers had their challenges, but suddenly losing them is concerning. Perhaps we should consider seeking medical advice, I said to my wife. I truly hoped that nothing would happen to her. She holds immense value in my life and I cannot bear the thought of losing her. I care deeply for her well-being and would never allow her to endure unnecessary suffering or, worst-case scenario, face a potential fatality due to a power blockage or any other potential condition. I don't know how it happened, but I'm genuinely relieved that it did. Previously, my visions haunted me, and I lived in constant fear of those potential nightmares becoming reality. However, now I feel a sense of tranquility. I'm grateful that I can dedicate the remaining years of my life solely to you, without the burden of worrying about ominous prophecies coming true. Don't worry, Irene. I will always ensure your safety, no matter what. I am fully committed to protecting you, I say affectionately to my wife. I assure you, I will do everything within my capabilities to ensure her safety. I will ensure that my wife has the same longevity as me. I am determined to keep her by my side, no matter what measures I have to take, regardless of the circumstances. Skipping ahead once more over the past 2 years, Naruto and his dedicated group of followers have achieved remarkable productivity. He had thoroughly utilized his expertise on the 90s. He currently oversees major tech companies such as Google, Netflix, and others. He was confident that his investments would yield significant financial gains in the future. He could even establish strong connections and gain influence through them in global politics at the highest levels as well. His concern revolved around the impact on the government and societal figures at the grassroots level. It can be quite challenging as it requires a significant investment of time and a strong network, rather than relying solely on financial resources. He was still diligently working on that. Perhaps I should consider aligning myself with a reputable organization that possesses strong connections and influence, he pondered to himself. He could likely discover numerous secret organizations scattered throughout the world. This was indeed marvel. Being part of exclusive organizations was the norm here. However, that occurred at a later time. He was diligently working to enhance his skills and abilities. Even deities must exercise to maintain their physical fitness. He has been honing and exploring his abilities for the past 2 years, and he was pleased to announce that he had nearly perfected them to the fullest extent. Currently, he found himself on Mars. He arrived at this location by air, and yes, he was able to fly. He is able to accomplish that due to his exceptional physical abilities. His abilities have been significantly enhanced to extraordinary levels. His exceptional physique was maximized thanks to his expertise in physiology. It accelerated his growth beyond what would be expected. What would have taken him an extensive amount of time to achieve his current level of strength was accomplished in a remarkably short period of 2 years. His remarkable growth was a result of his strong and fit physique. It felt like experiencing a significant power increase, without the need for any life-threatening situations. The Alpha Physiology perk is intended to elevate him to a level akin to Captain America, despite the absence of any other individuals of his kind for him to measure himself against. He was confident in his ability to rival comic Thor in physical prowess, a remarkable feat considering Thor's divine heritage and the countless centuries it took him to achieve such strength. However, there was a small issue at the moment. He was rapidly approaching his limit, which was rather unexpected. He believed he could possess the immense strength of Darkseid, capable of holding black holes in his palms and manipulating space with his hands. However, that did not occur. Despite his alpha physiology, he was rapidly approaching his physical limit. He pondered whether he required additional resources such as extra time, training, or even facing near-death trials to attain the desired level of strength. Alternatively, he contemplated if he needed some other form of enhancement or power boost. Upon reflection, it seems that the primary source of Darkseid's power lies in the Omega effect. Indeed, it is noteworthy that it bestowed comparable levels of power and strength upon his daughter, Grail. Similarly, Odin also demonstrated immense strength, largely attributed to the Odin Force. If my theory is correct, then I would need to awaken a highly skilled entity to significantly enhance my abilities or acquire a means to tap into an external source of power. However, he currently didn't possess either. He had not received any new quests in the past 2 years, despite successfully completing 2 different missions on his very first day in this world. However, he had a theory regarding the reason behind that. He had a solid grasp of how his system operated. He was given quests to alter the future or destiny of this world and its characters. Initially, he was assigned a task to exert control over the world, using either force or intelligence, in order to alter its destiny. Upon successfully accomplishing this, he was duly rewarded. If he had opted for the third choice instead of doing that, his system would not have provided him with any rewards. It is highly likely that the grim future of him being killed by Gore, as indicated by the system, will unfortunately become a reality. Just like Vanessa, he completely altered her destiny by making her his own long before Deadpool had the chance. That was the cause for which he was honored. He was given 2 options to change her fate, and instead of choosing just one, he decided to select both, resulting in him receiving double rewards. Over the past 2 years, he had made no effort to alter or influence the destiny of others. He had not engaged in any acts of violence, harm, or attempted to interfere with someone else's relationship. Wow, it's surprising that he hasn't had the opportunity to meet any influential figures in the Marvel world over the past 2 years. Does the system expect me to do some hands-on work or something? Perhaps I should consider spending more time outside the mansion instead of constantly honing my abilities and engaging in intimate encounters with Vanessa and Selene. Naruto pondered this to himself. Indeed, he had begun to consistently sleep with Selene too. It occurred just a week after his encounter with Vanessa, who used her manipulative tactics to seduce him. However, once again, the system did not provide any options. Similarly to the Morlocks, he also did not receive any choices or reward options despite them working directly under him. Was it possible that he had not yet altered their destiny, or were they simply not significant enough for the system to provide rewards? He had no clue, but he understood from his extensive knowledge of otaku culture that altering destiny was an incredibly difficult task. That was the conclusion he reached based on his extensive research materials, Final Destination. However, at this moment, it held no significance for him as his focus lay in comprehending and honing his existing abilities rather than acquiring new ones without fully grasping their nature. He had not only fully utilized the supernatural and alpha physique benefits, but also mastered the art of efficiently managing his inventory. He possessed a wide range of items in his inventory, including rocks, knives, swords, guns, and even explosives, which he believed would catch the enemy off guard. His level of preparedness would put even Dora's backpack to shame. With an impressive collection of weapons in his inventory, he could easily be considered an expert in the field. He was confident that there was even a small lake of water in it. Equipped with his well-stocked inventory, he was prepared for any situation. He had also evaluated his defenses and resistances. Up until now, Selenek couldn't even read a single thought in his mind or absorb any life force from his soul body. He had an impressive resistance to most poisons that he had tested on himself, which indicated a rather unique level of dedication. It seemed that he was gradually adopting the traits of a protagonist from a masochistic wuxia novel. I hope I don't start expressing a desire for harm to come to my adversaries. Perhaps I should. They might even feel extreme embarrassment and regret. He healed faster than most, although not as quickly as Deadpool, Wolverine, or Hulk. Despite his ability to heal most injuries with a good night's sleep, he couldn't help but draw a comparison to Spider-Man. He was highly skilled at utilizing his divine spirit body perk as well. It appears that the outcome was the transformation of his physical form into a being composed entirely of celestial energy in the astral realm. Someone who possesses sufficient expertise in the astral arts would be able to effectively counter him. Even individuals with the ability to phase should be capable of interacting with him, as they have the power to alter their vibrational frequencies and pass through objects, including astral bodies. He could only utilize it for evading attacks, engaging in combat with adversaries who rely solely on physical strength, or as a last resort for escaping. Reflecting on his impressive accomplishments, he felt a sense of fulfillment as he admired the artwork he had created on the surface of Mars, pushing the boundaries of his abilities. Now he would certainly have the capability to defeat the majority of the lower-level adversaries in the verse. However, he had a significant journey ahead of him before he could aspire to rival the top players in the industry, such as Sentry, Blue Marvel, Odin, and other prominent figures. I wonder if I'll have the necessary skills to defeat Thanos now. Well, only time will tell. At least, I suppose. Ultimately, my goal is to become significantly stronger than my current level. Less than Pavwise Elder, greater than it's unexpected that this would occur. This was my 100th attempt at using the Time Stone within the Eye of Agamotto to glimpse into the future, yet each time, it reveals the identical outcome. Sorry, I have nothing to offer at the moment. It's not as if our world is on the brink of destruction in the future. If that were true, the stone would have revealed the events leading up to that moment. However, it had lost its ability to anticipate any future events. Either the Eye of Agamotto was malfunctioning, which I can assure you it wasn't, as I thoroughly checked it to ensure its proper functioning. Alternatively, the stone could have been broken, but that is highly unlikely since it is not a machine, but rather the solidified form of an aspect of the universe. I must acknowledge that there may be other entities with sufficient power to obstruct the stone's ability to foresee the future. Actually, there is an abundance of such beings. However, none of them can sustain their actions without facing opposition from those who seek to disrupt the delicate equilibrium of power among these influential entities. Even if someone were obstructing the stone's ability to see into the future, its vision would eventually prevail. Furthermore, I have confidence in my abilities as a sorceress. I should be able to identify and trace the occurrence back to the underlying issue. However, I am unsure of the exact issue at hand. It seems as though the stone has lost its ability to foresee the future, or perhaps there is simply no future for it to gaze upon. Time is a dynamic force, with countless paths and opportunities, where our future is shaped by the decisions we make. There are already multiple futures in existence, like streams, and we are currently just sailing along on this journey. Regardless of our actions, we create a distinct time stream where the events have already occurred and exist in some form. And as everyone knows, we specialize in creating what already exists. Time can be quite complex. At times, I question my decision to accept the role of the Sorcerer Supreme. Perhaps the head librarian position would have been a more suitable choice for me instead. It's irrelevant. I committed to this position a long time ago and I am fully dedicated to fulfilling all of its responsibilities until the very end, because that is my ultimate goal. So I will continue fulfilling my responsibilities. I will diligently continue my preparations for the succession of Strange, the most esteemed sorcerer among us, to my position, as I have foreseen in my recent vision through the stone. I can only hope that this momentous event will indeed come to pass. After all, I have doubts about the validity of anything I have ever witnessed in the future. Our future at this moment is completely open to possibilities. And all I can do is remain optimistic. This is the most delicious dish I have ever tasted, I think to myself as I enjoy breakfast with Celine and Vanessa. Naruto discovered that, as a deity, he wasn't required to consume food or beverages regularly to maintain his health or physique. However, he still indulged in eating and drinking for the sheer pleasure of savoring the flavors. He might be able to go without food and water for an extended period, possibly even a few months, although he hasn't actually tested his limits of hunger and thirst yet. However, what motivated him to give up his luxurious lifestyle and delectable meals just to experiment with the duration it would take for him to experience hunger? And no, the food wasn't prepared by a skilled chef like many other protagonists in novels. He lacked the necessary qualifications or advantages for that. Even if he did, he would likely be too unmotivated to utilize them. After all, a skilled chef doesn't cook. He really hoped he wasn't a god of cooking. Their breakfast was prepared by a renowned chef, known for their culinary expertise. He prepared their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Being wealthy is truly a remarkable advantage, Naruto thought to himself. During that moment, a minor earthquake unexpectedly started, catching us all off guard. It was a brief moment, abruptly coming to an end. What was that? Should we evacuate the premises? Vanessa sounded quite concerned. However, nobody responded to her as both Selene and Naruto were currently focused on something else. While Selene appeared distant and unfocused, Naruto's expression was one of deep concentration as he stared intently in a particular direction. Is it supposed to be this early? I had anticipated that significant canon events would not occur for a few more years. It seems I was mistaken. I can sense a stirring on Earth, potentially in the Middle East, using my cosmic senses. However, the level of my abilities is insufficient to precisely determine the exact location, individuals involved, or nature of this awakening. I need to figure out how to train the perk or upgrade it to a better version somehow, he pondered. Naruto then observed Selene, sensing that she too was experiencing something. After sensing his attention, she quickly returned to the present moment and met his gaze. After noticing his puzzled expression, she quickly responded, I believe I have an idea of what it was, sir. Naruto stayed silent, signaling her to carry on speaking. I am actually a very ancient mutant belonging to a class of immortal mutants called the Externals. I was the very first of them actually. As an external, I have the unique ability to sense other externals and can only be permanently defeated if another external is the one to do it, Selene explained. What we experienced just now wasn't a typical earthquake, but rather the stirring of another external force that had been dormant for a long time. I sensed its presence, and it likely sensed mine as well. This particular force, while not as ancient as myself, is still one of the most formidable among our kind. What is the name of this external? Naruto inquired, already having a strong intuition regarding the identity of the so-called ancient mutant. His given name was El Saba Nur, but when he ascended to power in ancient Egypt as its pharaoh and deity, he adopted the name Apocalypse, Selene informed him. Wait, if he possesses such immense power, why hasn't he already established dominion over the world? Vanessa interjected. You'll need to inquire with him about that. I wasn't in Egypt at that time, so I can't provide any insight into how or why he went into hibernation, Selene responded. Naruto had no interest in the reason for his hibernation. What about the other externals? Where are they? Naruto inquired of Selene, as he preferred not to handle the additional externals. Dealing with individuals who possess the ability to constantly revive and seek vengeance would prove to be quite a challenge until a solution to permanently eliminate these immortals could be discovered. The majority of them have been eliminated, sir. I personally took care of the task. Initially, I attempted to persuade them to join our organization, but when they refused, I harnessed their life force to expedite the ritual that brought you back. Regrettably, a few individuals managed to evade detection and remain alive, as they concealed themselves quite effectively. There was a sense of accomplishment in the air as Selene wore a satisfied expression, while Vanessa appeared genuinely impressed. So you're claiming to be stronger than the majority of the externals? I inquired. Indeed, my extensive experience and vast knowledge, encompassing not only my own abilities but also the mystical arts, have undoubtedly elevated me above the majority, if not all, of my peers. However, it is important to note that Apocalypse stands as a remarkable exception among our kind, she informed me. Should we invite him to join us too? Perhaps he'll be convinced after learning about the Master's remarkable achievements, Vanessa inquired of Selene. Apocalypse is a tyrant, a self-proclaimed deity who seeks to exert control over everything. He constructs his own cities only to obliterate them, all in the name of what he deems as progress. He fancies himself as the harbinger of transformation. While I have doubts about the possibility of reasoning with him, I am willing to make an attempt if it aligns with the master's wishes, Celine stated. After hearing everything, Naruto fell into a deep silence. He was considering his options and thinking about what he wanted to do. He recalled Apocalypse from the comics and the movie from his past experiences. Based on Celine's words, it seems that this Apocalypse is reminiscent of the ones portrayed in comics, suggesting that it could be significantly more powerful. He had doubts about his ability to eliminate him. Perhaps overcoming him was possible, but permanently eliminating him proved to be a challenging task. He was determined to ensure that his enemy would never pose a threat again, constantly improving his own strategies to stay one step ahead. If that were to occur, he would lose the element of surprise. He wanted to avoid turning his second life into a never-ending cycle like the comics. He had just received word from Celine that there was a way to permanently eliminate him, with no possibility of resurrection by anyone else. Now, where could he find a reliable individual who would be willing to assist him, considering the unfortunate circumstances that Celine had caused by eliminating most of them? Oh no, he pondered the possibility of acquiring an intelligence-boosting advantage as he gazed at Celine. However, even with Celine by his side to eliminate Apocalypse, the lingering question remained. Could he actually overcome him? Only the Phenix-powered gene could defeat him in the movie. Did he have any intention of visiting Apocalypse, given the possibility of being defeated by the X-Men and not having to exert any effort? No, I require my system to provide me with additional rewards, and actively participating in significant global events will help me achieve that. I cannot afford to be lazy, and allowing fear to hold me back is not an option for someone striving for greatness. If I experience such fear despite having immense power, it calls into question my suitability as a deity. Naruto had made up his mind regarding how to handle Apocalypse. He would offer Apocalypse the opportunity to join him and acknowledge him as his deity, something that Nura most likely wouldn't do. Given the circumstances, Naruto would take decisive action to ensure that Apocalypse poses no further threat to him or his plans. Perhaps I can utilize Gene to weaken him sufficiently, allowing Celine to eliminate him. Perhaps I won't need to engage in any conflict. Yep, I am quite skilled. Naruto pondered quietly. He had never faced a formidable opponent before and was not eager to have his first encounter be with an ancient immortal mutant possessing countless powers and celestial armor technology. He had naively believed that he wouldn't have to confront Apocalypse. Regrettably, he was completely unaware of the plans that fate and his system had in store for him. We will be pursuing Apocalypse next. He will need to either accept our invitation to join us or face the consequences of rejecting it, Naruto confidently declared. Please begin making preparations for the journey, Celine. We will be traveling to Egypt, as it is the location where Apocalypse used to rule and where he was last sighted, Naruto instructed Celine. I'll instruct our team to make the necessary arrangements for the jet, as it is the most efficient means of transportation, Celine said with a composed expression. I believe I will require advanced teleportation or portal technology in the near future to significantly reduce my travel time. But until then, a high-quality and lavish jet will suffice. Being wealthy truly is a remarkable advantage, Naruto thought to himself. Traveling to Cairo, the capital of Egypt, was a comfortable experience for Naruto. He had the privilege of flying in a luxury jet and was accompanied by two lovely women. They were warmly greeted by the employees at the Egyptian branch of their company. Indeed, Meta has expanded its reach globally. The company's financial situation greatly improved thanks to Naruto's Golden Rule perk. The cash continued to pour in. They chose a high-end hotel for their stay. Now they just needed to determine Apocalypse's current location. During their travels, Apocalypse utilized Charles's exceptional telepathic abilities to greatly enhance his own psychic powers. With this immense power, he took control of the world's major powers and directed their nuclear missiles into space. In the minds of all, he proclaimed mutants as the superior race and declared himself their emperor. Simply put, he had completely ignored the concept of personal privacy, filled outer space with dangerous nuclear missiles, and left behind mutants for Naruto to deal with at a later time. This is quite frustrating. Naruto thought to himself, frustrated by the unexpected complications that had arisen. It's no surprise that Apocalypse struggled to establish lasting control over the planet. Despite his immense power, he turned out to be quite foolish. Can you feel his presence? Naruto inquired of Celine. He understood that his cosmic senses were not strong or accurate enough to determine Noor's whereabouts. He needed to find a way to further train it. I can detect his presence in the country, but I can only locate him if he grants me permission, Celine explained to him with a touch of sadness in her voice. She felt disappointed that she couldn't provide him with more assistance. All right. We'll need to approach this in a professional manner. Instruct our team to begin scouring the city for any leads on Apocalypse. Vanessa, see if you can gather information from the locals to see if they have any insights. Meanwhile, I'll take to the skies and survey the city and surrounding desert for any potential clues, Naruto concluded with determination. Both girls were in complete agreement with the plan. It was not their position to question their god anyway. They promptly departed to fulfill their responsibilities in order to satisfy him. He efficiently utilized his time and took to the skies, surveying the city for any anomalies. Although I appreciate their loyalty and dedication, I have found things to be a bit monotonous lately. I need to encourage them to feel comfortable expressing their thoughts in my presence. After all, the most effective plans always incorporate multiple perspectives, and I recognize that I am not infallible when it comes to strategy and wisdom. It is only natural to seek input from others to avoid any potential mistakes. Naruto pondered while soaring through the sky, contemplating ways to foster greater receptiveness among his followers. They had been training together recently and all three of them had made impressive progress in their combat abilities. He was confident that both Celine and Vanessa were capable of handling any unforeseen circumstances. Celine possessed a remarkable mastery of magic, which she willingly demonstrated for him. Naruto recalled that Celine had a deep understanding of magic, to the point where she could rival the sorcerer supreme in the comics. Apocalypse's superior power in the comics can be attributed to the celestial armor, advanced technology, and enhancements from the high evolutionary, along with the techno-organic viruses. Although engaging in a battle with him would likely prove to be quite challenging for me, especially considering my current lack of a divine weapon like Thor, he somberly pondered. He really desired a stylish and iconic weapon for his collection. As he pondered his surroundings during his flight, he was abruptly struck by a sensation. He experienced an unusual sensation in his chest. It seemed to emanate from the depths of his being. He was quite taken aback. This sensation was not exactly discomfort, but rather a peculiar allure, a yearning for something. It was guiding him towards a specific location in the city. He promptly pursued it out of curiosity, eager to discover its nature. Perhaps this is my rule of thumb perk at play. Perhaps it will guide me to a hidden sanctuary of valuable herbs and treasures protected by a majestic dragon emperor or something, he daydreamed without reservation. After a while of observing his newfound intuition, he noticed a gathering of individuals with peculiar attire engaging in conversation with the locals. The group consisted of individuals with distinct appearances. One member had a confident demeanor, sporting futuristic red glasses and a slightly irritated expression. Another member, despite being small in stature, had blue skin and long ears that peeked out from beneath a large hooded jacket. A young boy in the group appeared to be perspiring heavily, possibly due to the intense heat. There was also a short, muscular man who constantly wore a frown on his face. Lastly, a young boy stood out with his silver jacket and nerdy goggles. There was also an attractive woman with white hair and an appealing figure leading the group. Wait, are these the X-Men? This universe appears to be quite different from the movies, just as I anticipated. Interestingly, none of them bore any resemblance to their on-screen counterparts either. Perhaps it would be best for me to depart. That was the moment he noticed her and realized who he truly desired in his heart. The individual possessed an attractive physique, a lovely countenance, and a vibrant mane of red hair. She stood at the back, fully focused on something as she closed her eyes. She appeared to be experiencing some discomfort. She was undeniably attractive, but Naruto couldn't quite comprehend why he felt drawn to her. When did Marvel become Twilight? Don't tell me, my life is now going to be filled with romantic drama, soulmates that sparkle, and love triangles. Nope, not happening, Naruto grumbled in his mind. He observed the individual wearing red glasses, likely Scott, and considered the possibility of eliminating him before any potential conflicts could arise. He patiently waited for a system notification, but unfortunately, none arrived. No, the group will be significant for my future plans. If I eliminate one of them too quickly, I will jeopardize their trust, he rationalized with himself. He attempted to disregard his feelings of attraction towards Jean and concentrate on the more significant matters. But I cannot perceive the professor who is causing great distress or his assistant, the highly intelligent blue creature among them. Where did they disappear to? Perhaps it would be more advantageous for me to meet them without the two individuals. Perhaps I can even attempt to. With a confident demeanor, he approached the group to introduce himself. He was confident that his attractive appearance and strong moral principles would greatly assist him in making a positive impact on others. Less than, Pav Jean Grey, also known as Marvel Girl, greater than what is going on with me. I have been experiencing some unusual sensations since we arrived in this city. Could this be a result of my abilities? Just when I thought I finally had some semblance of control over them, this happens. Perhaps the professor was correct in their assessment. It seems that my current level of experience is insufficient to effectively manage my own abilities. Regular sessions with him helped me maintain control over my mind powers. However, ever since he was abducted by that menacing individual, it feels like my ability to control my powers is slipping away. The situation was deteriorating with each passing day. However, upon arriving in this city in search of the professor, a wave of unfamiliar emotions suddenly washed over me. It felt as though it had a purpose, as if it was leading me somewhere. I was presented with an offering. Something of great significance. This sense of attraction and longing was only intensifying as time went on. I attempted to adhere to it, but Scott adamantly refused to release me. His behavior became increasingly dependent over time. Despite clearly expressing my lack of interest in a relationship at the moment, the individual persisted and refused to respect my boundaries. Logan attempted to frighten him once, despite witnessing my distress, but he remained oblivious to the message. He was certain that I would eventually recognize his talent and be open to his proposals. He displayed a high level of arrogance, likely due to his close relationship with the professor. I had once considered giving him a chance based on the professor's advice, but after getting to know Scott's thoughts, I couldn't bring myself to do it. His focus was primarily on pursuing a physical relationship with me. He was highly unprofessional. He seemed to have an unhealthy fixation on me, and it made me extremely uncomfortable. It was unsettling and quite uncomfortable. Perhaps it would have been wiser to remain with Hank at the hotel. The unfortunate individual was unable to venture into public due to his absence of human-like features. As I was feeling a bit overwhelmed and annoyed with my thoughts, a man with a remarkable appearance unexpectedly came up to us, wearing a friendly smile. As soon as I laid eyes on him, my heart felt an intense surge of emotion. I realized that my emotions were connected to this attractive man with a strong physique that I can't help but stay focused, Jean. Keep your attention on the task at hand. When did I start behaving inappropriately? I had never met that man before, yet I am already feeling a strong attraction towards him. I should feel embarrassed about my actions. Hello. I am Naruto Uzumaki and I believe we can mutually benefit from working together. The man stepped forward and addressed our group. Naruto introduced himself to the X-Men, aiming to establish a strong connection for potential future collaborations. They will play a crucial role in his plans later. Who are you? Do we seem like we have time for idle chit-chat with strangers? Scott remarked casually. Wow, he is incredibly unprofessional towards me despite my golden rule perk. Naruto pondered to himself if there was some hidden trait that allowed him to behave in such an unpleasant manner. Scott, please maintain a respectful demeanor. It is important to treat strangers with courtesy. You have been taught proper behavior, the woman with white hair, who appears to be Aurora, admonished him. Then she turned to Naruto and politely began, sorry for that. I am Aurora Munro. These are Scott Summers, Robert Drake, also known as Bobby, Kurt Wagner, Pietro Maximoff, Logan, and that is Jean Grey, she introduced, pointing to each one of them. You mentioned that you could assist us, so are you familiar with what we're looking for? Aurora asked me with a hopeful tone. Indeed, I do. I hail from an esteemed organization dedicated to assisting mutants and enhancing their quality of life in the long run. Our organization, known as Meta, operates globally and is actively seeking individuals who share our vision and can contribute to our mission. Allow me to commence my persuasive presentation. Perhaps I should consider pursuing a career in sales rather than continuing on my current path as a mutant messiah god. We have been considering the possibility of collaborating with Xavier's School for the Gifted for some time. That's why I reached out to all of you. I believe that with your exceptional abilities and our available resources, We have the potential to make a significant impact on the lives of mutants like ourselves. Naruto continued to express his ideas, emphasizing his own experiences as a mutant in order to establish a connection with the group. Many individuals appeared to be quite interested in that pitch. Naruto was certain that his exceptional skill would never fail him. Even if they chose not to join at this time, which was the most likely scenario, they would still be more inclined to support his organization. It would also be easier to influence and recruit them in the future. We don't need any assistance, pal. Take your good looks and show them off somewhere else. A rather irritating voice suddenly came from Scott. Scott, if you make any more disrespectful remarks, I will significantly increase our hand-to-hand training sessions, Logan warned sternly. Excuse me, but it would be wise for you to remain silent for a moment. Allow the distinguished gentleman to speak. His voice is far more pleasant to listen to than yours. Not that I find pleasure in his voice, of course, Bobby defended me. Well, I appreciate him, but I should probably communicate to him later that I have different preferences. I am not that kind of deity after all, Naruto pondered. I apologize for Scott's behavior. It is not typical of him. However, you will need to discuss partnership matters with the professor. Unfortunately, I do not have the authority to make decisions of this nature independently, Storm explained with a hint of sorrow. It's all right, Aurora, or should I say, Storm. I don't require an answer at this moment. My purpose here is to assist your team and demonstrate the value of our partnership to all of you. I state with a composed expression. So you can help us locate the professor and my father. Magneto? The professor was taken by Apocalypse, a mean-looking, powerful immortal mutant. Magneto was with him as well. Pietro inquired with such haste that he seemed to be on a sugar rush. Yes, we tracked the professor's psychic signal with Jean's assistance but were unable to locate his precise position. It would be really helpful if you could assist us in finding the professor before anything occurs to him. Well, I can. As we speak, my soldiers are combing the whole city and the surrounding deserts for any signs of Apocalypse, Magneto, or your professor. We will discover them very shortly. The issue is, do you want to work together if we locate them? That way, if Apocalypse poses a danger, we'll be able to combat him far more easily collectively. I coaxed them. Aurora seems to be thinking something. He turned at Logan, who nodded. Fine. I just hope you don't betray us, Aurora stated after a while. Don't worry. I won't. I do not do silly things like that. After all, I want our partnership to persist for a long time. Naruto said the last phrase while glancing at Jean. He wanted to see how she responded to his approaches and whether she was feeling the same way he was right now. He had a sensation that the source of his attraction was a flaming bird who was meant to be his mother. Jean flushed slightly when she saw Scott's expression, which indicated that he had eaten something bitter. At that point, Naruto felt a faint tap on his mental boundaries. He knew the knock. He'd felt it many times throughout his training with Celine and Vanessa. He allowed her inside his head. We discovered them, Master. Vanessa overheard three guys discussing the sudden formation of a metal metropolis in the desert. A flying spacecraft was also seen around that location. We even received the location when she inquired, politely. It's a few kilometers distant from here, Celine informed him. Good work, Celine. You and Vanessa go to the place, but do not approach the enemy. Bring just a few mutants who are capable of fighting. I will bring the primary attack force with me. There's no need to squander our men's lives when we'll have free muscle. I instructed her. Celine responded, as you order, Master, and mentally transmitted him the location before disconnecting the conversation. Naruto was pleased that everything was going according to plan. This telepathic relationship they had been developing together was ideal for occasions like this. It was unfortunate that the coverage limit was merely a city owing to Celine's weak mental power. It seems like I'll need a powerful psychic on my squad sooner or later. Maybe even multiple psychics, he thought to himself as he looked at Jean and considered another blonde bombshell psychic. However, he kept a straight look and turned to Aurora, saying, Congratulations, it seems my men have finally identified the whereabouts of your professor. We should rush there before Apocalypse decides he doesn't need him anymore and kills him. The crew glanced at each other, thinking this was really rapid, and agreed with him. It was determined that they would pick up Hank from the hotel and transport him to the place Naruto specified using the X-Jet. It would be the fastest option for them. Maybe we can trust them, I mean, this man seems pretty ho, Trustworthy, yes, he looks like we can truly trust him, Aurora reasoned. Jean, on the other hand, seemed to be far more interested in Naruto than in protecting the professor. Although she stayed fairly silent during the journey, she did steal occasional looks at his exquisite face and fit figure until they arrived at the plane. Should I question him about the feeling? Jean wondered as she entered the plane. After all, this was the first time a teenager like her experienced such strong feelings. She enjoyed the overwhelming desire she felt for him, but she despised the yearning aspect of it. This is going to be an amazing airline flight, Naruto thought wisely to himself. All of the X-Men climbed onboard the plane and promptly took their seats. Hank had taken the pilot's seat, while Aurora had chosen the co-pilot's seat. Despite her desire to chat to Naruto and get to know him better, she was curiously captivated by him. She had never seen someone so flawless. Even Hank, who had met him much more recently than them, had instantly welcomed him. He seems to have an instinctive regard for Naruto. It may have been due to his beast instincts, which were much sharper than Logan's. Logan, on the other hand, stayed to himself and only spoke with Naruto when absolutely necessary. Actually, he was like that with most individuals, so this was nothing new. Except for Scott, the other youngsters had warmed up to Naruto, particularly the future Iceman, Robert Drake, sometimes known as Bobby. Naruto had been debating whether he should make it obvious to Bobby that he would not tolerate Bobby's cold balls anywhere in his personal area. But he had held off on it since he didn't want him to lose confidence just before their battle. Bobby had even given Naruto the seat next to him, which Kurt, also known as Nightcrawler, seemed pretty unhappy over since he assumed his cool buddy and comrade no longer wanted to sit with him. Naruto, of course, took advantage of the opportunity to reject Bobby's offer and inform Kurt that he could maintain his seat next to his pal. "You can sit next to me," a hesitant voice said to him. When he turned back, he noticed Jean staring at him with a flushed face full of confidence and anticipation. "But I was going to sit here." Scott, of course, jumped at the offer to be a beta. "I invited Naruto first, so maybe you can sit somewhere else for the ride," Jean hastily explained to Scott before Naruto could respond. Scott reluctantly accepted the nasty message and went to sit next to Jean. Once a beta, always a beta. Naruto felt sorry for Scott and considered showing him some Andrew Tate footage when the man became famous in the future. He then sat calmly alongside Jean and tightened his seat straps. He was not going to display himself simping all over her just because she had one heck of a booty. "My name is Jean, and you've already heard from Aurora. I am a student at Xavier School," she introduced herself again. Naruto Uzumaki, chairman of Meta International, he did the same thing. "So you're also a mutant, huh? Could you please tell me what your abilities are?" "Mine are telepathy and telekinesis." Jean attempted to continue the discussion. She wanted to continue chatting to him for some reason. "My mutant powers, huh? You should be aware that I am very powerful, durable, and resistant to mental powers. I can also become an incorporeal ghost for a while, I suppose. Now that you mention it, I don't appear to be able to read your thoughts, so you're like an all-rounder, huh? You are truly amazing, you know." Jean complimented him practically without cause. "Thanks," he said, still grateful for her compliment. He wasn't going to ignore people's generosity and admiration for no reason. They kept talking like this for a while until Jean decided to ask him the subject she had been thinking about. "By the way, have you had any strange feelings in your heart since we just met? For some strange reason, I've been feeling a strong connection to you. It only stopped when I got near to you." "Wait. Are you proposing to me, or something? I mean, we just met, Miss Jean. I don't believe I can accept your proposal so quickly. Maybe we should go on a couple dates first and see where it takes us," I joked with her. "No, I didn't mean it like that." She hastily defended herself with a flushed face, recognizing how her earlier inquiry would have sounded to me. "Do not worry, Miss Jean. I understand you didn't intend it that way. I was only kidding with you. Regarding your inquiry, I do have a strong emotion that draws me to you for some reason. I was genuinely attempting to ignore it so as not to seem impolite," I told her. She seemed pleased to hear that. She had previously assumed that their relationship was one way. "What do you think this is?" she asked, staring at my lips in a bewildered way. "And please call me Jean." I could already see the different steamy romantic scenarios flowing through her youthful mind. Attempting to explain our connection, I knew that if I asked her to be my girlfriend right now, she would most likely accept, but that wasn't my purpose. He had an idea. I don't desire her simply because she formed a connection with me. No, I'm looking for a stronger explanation. I want her to fall in love with me. I want her absolute loyalty and trust. And I'll make sure I have it before the end of the day, I thought, evilly smiling. I believe we have a connection with each other. Something that brings our thoughts or spirits together. Naruto seemed corny, but his golden rule perk was incredibly effective. Jean was enchanted by him. She was convinced in her youthful mind that she had finally found the one. She was nearly ready to kiss him on the lips at this point, and she probably would have done so, but an unpleasant whining voice interrupted her beautiful moment. What are you guys talking about? Scott attempted to destroy the privacy between them and single-handedly shattered their moment. Naruto wanted to murder the little jerk and hurl him off the aircraft. But before he could say anything in his rage, a torch flew out and struck Scott in the head. Ouch. What the? Scott gazed at the flame, trying to figure out how it had targeted him, but he couldn't discover a cause. Naruto, on the other hand, was well aware of the reason, particularly because the hot redhead in question was winking at him right now. I adore redheads. They may be insane at times, but they are as, if not more, sexy. Naruto carefully reflected to himself. Naruto felt that he had gained a lot of wisdom since entering the Marvel Universe. Perhaps he should compile a full book of his insights eventually. That manner, he might assist his fellow future reincarnators and transmigrators as well. Soon, the plane slowed and landed in the desert. When Naruto and the rest of the squad stepped out of the plane, he was nearly taken aback by the magnificent scene before him. There was a stunning metallic metropolis in the midst of nowhere in the desert that resembled a work of art. An enormous spacecraft protruded from the center of the city, like a massive pyramid. Naruto detected the presence of Vanessa and Celine in close proximity as they attempted to establish a mental connection. He instructed them to come to his present whereabouts. When they approached, he formally introduced his own team to the X-Men. He could have instructed his team to stay concealed and only emerge when necessary, but that wouldn't have been very effective in his battle against Apocalypse and his henchmen. Additionally, he aimed to gain favor with the X-Men before having to confront their esteemed professor. He witnessed his own people, including Morlocks and other mutant individuals, engaging in conversation with the X-Men. They were all getting along well, except for Scott, who consistently acted superior to the other mutants, displaying a rather unpleasant attitude. He also observed Jean and Celine exchanging intense gazes, as if there were some unspoken connection between them. Alright, Naruto had no intention of portraying himself as an oblivious main character. He was well aware of the reason, but he had no intention of intervening. He was thoroughly enjoying this after all. Let's go rescue the professor then, Naruto declared confidently. He would handle the situation as efficiently as possible before the end of this apocalypse. Successfully infiltrating the newly constructed metal city proved to be quite manageable, thanks in part to Naruto's companion, a teleporting creature with unique abilities. Nevertheless, the true shock awaited them within the city, where a formidable group of mutants had assembled to confront them. It appears that in this particular reality, Magneto had already enlisted the assistance of the Brotherhood from Genosha to aid Apocalypse. Indeed, it appears that in this reality, Magneto has successfully taken control of the kingdom of Genosha and now reigns as its current king. Naruto was informed of this by Celine, as expected. This is becoming increasingly challenging. Even if I manage to handle Apocalypse somehow, it will still be challenging for me to defeat all the other mutants here on my own. It's fortunate that I didn't advise Celine to wait for the opportune moment or anything like that. Naruto pondered quietly. He noticed 4 mutants who appeared more powerful and intimidating than the others, exuding an aura that sent chills down his spine. It was clear to him that these individuals were meant to be the 4 horsemen. He noticed them due to their distinct appearance, reminiscent of the comics and movies. It appears that, similar to the film, Psylocke, Magneto, and Angel were 3 of the horsemen. However, given Storm's leadership of the X-Men in this particular world, the 4th horseman turned out to be none other than Gambit, donning his peculiar cowl. I can't quite recall his full name, but from what I remember, he is said to possess incredible powers, almost reaching Omega level in the comics, pondered Naruto. I'll need to approach this fight with a professional mindset if I want to emerge victorious without any casualties. Naruto observed the X-Men and his own followers, contemplating the strength of his lineup, except for Scott, of course. He strongly desired to exchange him for his brother, Vulcan, who possessed an Omega level of power. "Could you please assist in keeping them occupied while I proceed to rescue the professor?" he inquired of the team. Honestly, he had no desire to personally save the professor. However, if he didn't intervene, Apocalypse could potentially possess Xavier's body and acquire his incredibly powerful mind abilities. When combined with his celestial armor and other existing powers, this would pose a significant challenge for Naruto to overcome in the future. "Yes, we are more than capable of dealing with these individuals," Scott confidently declared. Naruto strongly desired for Scott to face severe consequences in this fight. He might even express gratitude to that person if that were to occur. "Kurt, please transport me to the interior of that vessel. They are likely inside there," I stated. Kurt, being impressed by the impact of Naruto's golden rule, promptly followed his instructions. As he held his hand, Naruto experienced a sudden shift in his surroundings, as if he was being transported through space. It was an unusual sensation that lasted only briefly, and suddenly he found himself standing alongside Kurt within a metallic structure that appeared to be the pyramid. "If only I possessed the ability to teleport," he lamented quietly. He had very limited financial resources. He felt that life had dealt him a cruel hand. Anyway, he preferred not to dwell on his unfortunate circumstances. He had a strong fascination with this celestial technology. If he could somehow gain control of this ship, he would have a state-of-the-art flying base all to himself, rivaling the power of the Domo of the Eternals. But the question is, how can I acquire it? No, borrow it. I require the expertise of an individual or entity with the ability to breach highly advanced technological systems, a task that presents considerable difficulty in locating suitable candidates. And I prefer not to use the Sunstone for this. I have grand aspirations for that. He pondered silently. At this point, Naruto detected the presence of Apocalypse and Professor X in close proximity. He instructed Kurt to accompany him, and they swiftly arrived at a spacious chamber. Inside, the Professor and Apocalypse lay on separate beds, making final preparations for the body transfer ritual. Naruto was aware of his punctuality, possibly even arriving earlier than expected, as Apocalypse had yet to commence the ritual, unlike in the movie. "Kurt, swiftly transport the professor away from this location," he instructed his teleporting assistant. Kurt swiftly obeyed the command and swiftly teleported next to the professor, swiftly seizing him and promptly teleporting away from the ship. Apocalypse, who was focused on beginning the ritual, suddenly opened his eyes and noticed the professor was not there. He then composedly glanced at Naruto, who was standing there in silence, observing him. "I was hoping to resolve this situation peacefully, but now I am determined to eliminate you and your companions," Nur calmly declared to Naruto. However, beneath that composed exterior lurked the seething anger of a despot. "Oh, that's quite an intriguing proposal. I had the same thought in mind, too. I was considering extending an opportunity for you to join my team as a subordinate. And not just any team, but a team led by someone of great authority, namely myself. However, I sense that you may not be inclined to accept that." Naruto spoke to him in a composed manner. "Apocalypse only serves himself," replied Apocalypse in a self-centered manner. "That's unfortunate. I was considering creating a dedicated team of external professionals, like yourself, to work alongside me. But alas, Selene was correct. You are simply a tyrant, a narrow-minded individual aspiring to be a deity." Naruto was teasing Saba Nur, purely for the sake of observing his response. He enjoyed provoking serious individuals like Apocalypse purely for the purpose of amusement. However, Apocalypse was now genuinely taken aback. He was taken aback by the fact that Selene, who was just as prideful and powerful as him, had chosen to work for someone else. He realized in that instant that failing to recognize the capabilities of the individual before him would be an error. He prepared himself for a fierce battle. "I'm unsure of how you managed to convince Selene Gallio to join your team, but if you have, it's crucial that you demonstrate your strength and avoid being defeated right at the beginning of our confrontation. I hope you can provide sufficient entertainment in this battle," Apocalypse taunted, all the while maintaining a composed demeanor. Naruto prepared himself for the intense battle that lay ahead. He was determined to emerge victorious in the battle against Apocalypse, while also showcasing his skills effortlessly. He was determined to avoid any embarrassment in his debut fight. even though he possessed god-like abilities and had a reputation to uphold in front of his current and future fans. That would have negative consequences for his people. However, just as he was about to commence the battle, he was abruptly greeted by the long-awaited sound that had been eagerly anticipated for the past 2 years. Ding! Task created. World choice detected. Please select one of the available options. 1. As a deity, it is crucial to have devoted and capable followers who can effectively carry out your divine will. Ultimately, a deity without any followers cannot truly be considered a deity. Task: defeat El Sabanur, also known as Apocalypse, and demonstrate your superiority. Impress him with your expertise and assert your authority to make him willingly follow you. Please be aware that this specific mission must be completed within a 4-hour time limit. Prize: recipe card for a potion that enhances loyalty to divine levels. 2. No one should claim to be superior in your presence. Witness the magnificence of El Sabanur, the embodiment of true divinity. Confront him firmly until your hands ache. Objective: successfully neutralize El Sabanur without sustaining any significant injuries and ensure his permanent elimination. Please be aware that this specific mission must be completed within 4 hours. Get your hands on the coveted Motherbox equipment card. 3. You are a new deity, standing alone in your divine power. At times, one may experience feelings of solitude. Assist Apocalypse in enhancing his abilities to an extraordinary level by assuming control of Professor X's body and forming a deep bond with him. Objective: assist Apocalypse in enhancing his power by facilitating his possession of the Omega-level telepath, Professor X, and subsequently establish a lasting bond with him. Please be aware that there is a time limit of 12 hours for this specific mission. Warning: Apocalypse betrays you later and attempts to eliminate you using his enhanced and more powerful abilities. Additional Note 1. If a mission is not completed within the designated time limit, no additional penalties will be imposed. Additional Note 2. Punishments are not administered by the system, but rather they are the likely consequences of the host's decisions and behavior. Additional Note 3. Please note that only one option can be selected due to the contradictory nature of the choices in this particular quest. As Naruto carefully considered the 3 options, he couldn't help but question the intention behind the system's inclusion of the third choice. Was it meant to be a playful jest or a sincere caution? Unfortunately, he would never know. He desired the benefits of both options, but unfortunately, he was unable to pursue both since they were completely contradictory. He pondered the recipe for a loyalty potion of the highest caliber. In this world of Marvel, if he went by its name, it would likely command unwavering loyalty even from a deity. Marvel was a world of deception and falsehoods. Perhaps individuals with mind control abilities would possess immunity to such influences. Perhaps there could even be a clever excuse that individuals with strong determination would be unaffected by it, or maybe someone would develop a resistance to it. He couldn't possibly trust in a loyalty potion, especially when someone with questionable scientific skills could easily create an antidote for it. That was a typical plot in comic worlds like these. However, a mother box could prove to be quite useful. Indeed, mother boxes served as the primary instruments of the new gods in the DC universe. Having just one mother box would greatly benefit him in his endeavors. The mother box possessed the remarkable ability to open portals, heal even the most powerful beings, functioned as highly advanced computers surpassing quantum computers, and even had the capability to influence minds. He was uncertain about the outcome of this particular mother box, as it was provided by his system. However, he firmly believed that no mother box could ever be rendered useless. It could potentially even assist me in acquiring all of Apocalypse's technology. Naruto smiled mischievously in his mind. Choose option 2. He quickly made a mental decision to go with the second option. He quickly made his decision and refocused his attention on Apocalypse. He was now even more content. Apocalypse had become the target of his unwavering determination, a challenge he was determined to conquer and reap the rewards from. Let's move this confrontation outdoors, Naruto said to Apocalypse with a serious tone, as he wanted to avoid any potential damage to his future spaceship base. Apocalypse nodded and focused his attention on something, causing a section of the room to open up and reveal a pathway to the outside. Noor admired Naruto's gesture as he saw it as a display of a true warrior's spirit, indicating a desire for an honorable battle in the open. Regrettably, he would never be privy to the true musings of the youthful deity. Perhaps he would, as he found himself unexpectedly soaring through the newly created window he had just opened, before he had a chance to consider any other options or venture outside. Naruto wasted no time and delivered a powerful punch. He didn't want to be seen as an inexperienced character who hesitates and ends up being overpowered by their adversaries who show no mercy. He was determined to resolve this conflict swiftly. Naruto swiftly pursued Apocalypse outside, where he discovered him lying on the unforgiving ground. His skull was partially crushed, and his body was laboring to mend his fractured bones. He made the mistake of targeting his vulnerable head instead of attempting to penetrate his advanced celestial tech armor. He approached Sabanuru once more and delivered a powerful kick to his stomach, causing the bulky mutant to collide with the metal wall of the city. Naruto made a swift attempt to close the distance once more, only to find his feet firmly glued to the ground. Apocalypse utilized molecular manipulation to firmly attach him to the Earth's surface. He swiftly utilized his immense strength to release his feet from the ground, but unfortunately, it proved to be futile. Apocalypse demonstrated his remarkable healing ability by recovering to some extent. He then utilized his power to submerge Naruto into the earth by transforming the solid ground beneath him into liquid. As Naruto was engulfed by the liquid ground and it solidified, Naruto remained completely composed, showing no hint of emotion. He kept his gaze fixed on the ground, where the teenage warrior had disappeared. He patiently waited, fully aware that he still had a long way to go before he could defeat the young teen. He was vindicated when Naruto suddenly appeared from the ground, effortlessly phasing through the solid earth as if he were a ghost. This divine spirit body perk is truly valuable in times like these, Naruto thought with satisfaction. He demonstrated his expertise and swiftly lunged at Apocalypse, ready to deliver a powerful blow. Currently, Naruto's victories depend solely on his physical prowess. He desired this battle to be a physical one. He had a level of expertise that was comparable to a toned-down version of Superman. However, the situation didn't unfold as Naruto had anticipated. He had overlooked the fact that this specific mutant possessed numerous powers in his arsenal, if not more. As Naruto attempted to strike Apocalypse, his attack was thwarted by a formidable barrier composed of pure energy. It would have caused severe burns to Naruto's skin if he hadn't possessed godlike powers. It would likely require the immense energy and heat of a dwarf star to cause me any significant burns, contemplated Naruto as he recalled Thor from the film. However, he likely possessed even greater strength and resilience, as he was confident in his superiority over even the Thor depicted in comic books. Apocalypse went beyond the ordinary and utilized a powerful beam of cosmic energy to forcefully repel him. However, Naruto was well prepared and only took a single step back. Then he delivered a powerful blow to Apocalypse, exerting twice the amount of force as before. The mutant was unprepared for that. Despite his best efforts, he was unable to uphold the barrier while utilizing his other abilities, resulting in a powerful punch that struck him squarely in the face with an overwhelming force, akin to a crumbling mountain. He returned with a severely injured skull and collided with another metal building structure. Naruto was thoroughly enjoying himself. He was beginning to understand the extent of his power as a deity. The intense burst of cosmic energy caused some discomfort, but fortunately, it didn't leave any visible marks. His desire for Apocalypse's armor grew stronger as he recognized that the cosmic energy barrier and blasts were not inherent mutant powers, but rather abilities granted by the armor. He could sense the armor constantly absorbing energy from its surroundings, providing both protection for Apocalypse's body and enabling the use of those unique cosmic energy abilities. I'll become an unstoppable force once I acquire that armor, Naruto joyfully contemplated. However, in a surprising turn of events, the environment trembled and Naruto witnessed Apocalypse emerging from the wreckage of the metal building, his face contorted with intense fury. However, it was quite astonishing to see that Apocalypse had grown to an enormous size, comparable to that of the Hulk. Apocalypse right now was extremely frustrated. He had never been this furious, not even when he was betrayed by his own people in the past. But today, this young child had the audacity to defeat him like a punching bag. He would ensure that the small insect would soon come to regret its actions. Naruto, being a skilled fighter, wasted no time and swiftly charged towards the formidable mutant, unleashing a powerful strike capable of toppling mountains. He was determined to bring this battle to a swift conclusion, but Apocalypse was prepared. He skillfully transformed his hands into a drill and effortlessly extended multiple tentacles from his body. Naruto sensed a formidable resistance attempting to hinder his progress, but his unwavering strength prevailed. However, that significantly reduced his speed, allowing Sabanur to swiftly ensnare him with his tentacles and forcefully drive his hand drill into his chest. However, he was taken aback by Naruto's incredible durability, which far exceeded his expectations. His skin was impenetrable to the drill. That will likely result in a bruise. Also, Naruto grimaced as he expressed his strong dislike for tentacles. He didn't wait for Apocalypse's surprise to subside. Instead, he relied on his immense strength to break free from the repulsive tentacles and deliver a powerful punch to Apocalypse's face. However, this time he didn't fly away at the punch because Naruto was firmly gripping his drill arm with one hand. He relentlessly continued to punch Apocalypse in the face without stopping. Every punch delivered by Naruto possessed an immense force capable of inflicting fatal damage, yet he miraculously clung to life thanks to his extraordinary regenerative abilities. Nevertheless, Naruto noticed a slight decrease in the rate of regeneration. He understood that Apocalypse's ability to regenerate was not limitless, unlike certain other characters in the universe. He was approaching the point where his ability to regenerate would be exhausted. However, Apocalypse remained determined and resilient. He refused to accept defeat easily, utilizing his expertise to manipulate the earth and causing formidable metal spikes to emerge from the ground, inflicting harm upon Naruto. Despite Naruto remaining unharmed, he was taken aback by the unexpected assault, allowing Apocalypse to make a swift getaway. He managed to break free from the grip of the powerful deity and skillfully used the earth to engulf him. Emerging from the ground a short distance away, he caught the young god off guard for a moment. Naruto was growing increasingly frustrated with the elusive mutant. The tyrant always managed to elude him. Why can't he simply remain in one spot and allow me to defeat him? He thought without any regard for shame. You will never defeat me. You are just a mortal, but I am a god. Apocalypse began to yell as he became unhinged. With impressive skill, he effortlessly controlled the nearby metals, shaping them into massive spears that he hurled towards Naruto. The new god, however, was not idle this time. He was aware that those metal spears had the potential to cause bruises, given the considerable force with which they were being thrown. With impressive agility, he effortlessly evaded each attack and swiftly moved closer to the furious mutant. However, he soon realized that the previous attack had been a mere distraction. Right as he was about to approach Apocalypse for another strike, he witnessed the formidable tyrant gathering all his strength and directing it through his armor. Naruto anticipated what lay ahead. He was aware that Apocalypse was planning a full-scale assault, rather than opting for a defensive strategy as depicted in the movies. He was genuinely enthusiastic about it. Apocalypse unleashed his devastating full-powered attack, a concentrated blast of pure cosmic energy, resembling a pillar of heavenly light, with the sole purpose of causing destruction. Naruto was unable to evade the attack. He bravely confronted the entire assault. The powerful surge of cosmic energy devastated everything in its path, causing extensive damage to a significant portion of the city. The massive explosion could be likened to a miniature atomic bomb. Even the other mutants in the city, who were previously engaged in their own battles, paused momentarily when they witnessed the massive explosion. They were unaware of the parties involved in the conflict, but none of them were inclined to investigate the situation at this time. Both factions were eager for their preferred side to emerge victorious in the battle, hoping for an ally rather than an adversary. They remained optimistic and persevered in their personal battle. At the devastated section of the city, Apocalypse found himself seated on the ground, leaning against a wall for support. He had put forth his utmost effort in that final assault. He lacked the energy to even stand at the moment. He was confident that the individual had not survived this attack. This situation is beyond the realm of human endurance. It was regrettable. If he had discovered the young boy earlier, he could have nurtured him into becoming one of his most capable subordinates. However, the unfortunate lamb found itself pitted against a formidable opponent. As he contemplated his thoughts, the smoke in the vicinity gradually dissipated, revealing a discernible figure. Apocalypse was utterly astonished by what he saw. Naruto stood tall, appearing to be free from any significant injuries. His entire form exuded an air of authority as he wore a confident smile on his face. The young deity began stretching his limbs and flexing his joints. That was quite a surprise, you know. In the future, it would be helpful to have a warning or something, Naruto remarked to the old mutant, who was still in disbelief. Naruto was clearly exaggerating, as he could feel his body aching somewhat. It reminded him of a past incident where a friend had unexpectedly struck him in the stomach, though he couldn't recall the friend's face anymore. He experienced that familiar sensation all over his body. That's impossible. How are you still alive? I defeated you. I am the victor. I cannot accept defeat. I am invincible, Apocalypse mumbled in a delusional manner. He was astonished by what he saw. Naruto remained unresponsive to this. He confidently met his gaze and calmly responded, "No, you're mistaken. I hold the ultimate authority here." The ancient mutant remained silent. He was exhausted and lacked the energy to engage in playful conversation with Naruto. He struggled to stay awake. Naruto understood that permanently defeating Apocalypse would pose a significant challenge for him in his current state. However, he had a brilliant idea to accomplish precisely that. He was planning to seek assistance from Selene. He swiftly carried the barely conscious mutant, who had reverted back to his normal size, to the location where he detected Selene's presence. Upon his arrival, he observed that the battle was nearing its conclusion, with the majority of the horsemen having suffered defeat. Are the X-Men truly as formidable as they appear, or is their success merely a result of convenient plot devices or predetermined fate? He pondered this question upon observing the defeat of Apocalypse's forces. However, he eventually grasped the underlying cause. The majority of the mutants in Magneto's army were effectively dealt with by Professor Xavier upon his awakening, which played a crucial role in achieving this seemingly effortless victory. Selene appears to have emerged victorious against Psylocke, while Storm dealt with Gambit. It appears that Naruto had greatly underestimated the immense power of the weather-controlling mutant. It appears that Angel is struggling in his battle against Cyclops and Quicksilver. Sabretooth appeared to have been incapacitated by Logan, while Vanessa and Mystique were still engaged in combat. Even with the immense power of a horseman, Magneto appears to be limited by the combined forces of Jean and Bobby. As Naruto gracefully touched down on the ground, the lifeless form of Apocalypse cradled in his grasp, the attention of all the other mutants was immediately captured. Many people were incredulous when they witnessed the sight before them. The individual who was once believed to possess immense power, capable of challenging even deities, now teetered on the edge of mortality. Magneto displayed an impressive expression on his face, but he swiftly regained control of his emotions. He was an accomplished ruler. He had responsibilities towards his own men. He had to maintain a strong facade. He understood that this was an unwinnable situation at this point. At the moment, he lacks the necessary skills to emerge victorious against an opponent who has successfully defeated a formidable adversary like Apocalypse. After Apocalypse had unlocked his full potential, he could sense a continuous surge of strength within him. He was determined to continuously challenge himself and unlock greater levels of power. However, at the moment, he lacked the time and the circumstances were not suitable for that. Everyone withdraw. Magneto finally issued the order after reaching his decision. He didn't have the opportunity to save Apocalypse and rescue him from the clutches of the Teen Mutant. He prioritized the safety of himself and his team members for the time being. Eventually, all the mutants started to withdraw alongside Magneto, who took one final glance at the attractive face of the mutant who had thwarted his plans before also retreating. At this moment, Naruto was contemplating whether to eliminate Magneto immediately to prevent his escape or to allow him to depart for now and potentially recruit him into his organization at a later time. He understood the potential threat that Magneto posed, but he also didn't want to harm a potential future member of his team. Additionally, there was a discussion regarding his daughters, Polaris and Scarlet Witch, and their potential existence in this particular reality. Well, rejoice. You get to live today so that I can take over your country and your daughters later, old man, Naruto finally decided with a sinister smile. Regardless of the potential consequences, he was determined to personally confront Magneto in the near future. After Magneto and the other mutants of the Brotherhood departed, he observed that Angel and Psylocke remained behind, both unconscious for unknown reasons. Naruto saw this as an opportunity to add a powerful telepath, ninja to his team, and he was determined to make the most of it. He noticed that the remaining mutants present, including the X-Men and a few of his own team members who miraculously survived, were all fixated on him. The subordinates eagerly awaited his next orders. while the X-Men closely monitored his actions to ascertain his intentions. They still didn't have confidence in him, and he understood their hesitation. But at the moment, he didn't pay any attention to them. Currently, he had an ancient immortal mutant to eliminate and rare treasures to plunder. He gently placed the lifeless form of Apocalypse on the ground and beckoned Selene to join him. "Selene, could you handle him? Given that he's an external, even if I were to eliminate him, he would somehow find a way to return. You possess the unique ability to truly put an end to him, being an external yourself." Naruto explained the situation to Selene in a professional manner. At this point, Naruto had complete trust in her. She had demonstrated her unwavering commitment to serving him over the past 2 years. She and Vanessa were the only 2 individuals he truly relied on in this unfamiliar environment, at least for the time being. "Certainly, Master. My formidable abilities will ensure his demise. I will ensure that he meets a suitably agonizing end for daring to oppose you," Selene cheerfully replies. Vanessa, however, wore a jealous expression on her face. She consistently wears a professional demeanor, but that facade quickly fades whenever she witnesses Naruto giving orders to Selene instead of herself. "I'll need to address her behavior later when we return home. Nothing a little experimentation won't solve," Naruto thought to himself. Selene, being the consummate professional, wasted no time in taking advantage of the unconscious Apocalypse. She swiftly began absorbing his abundant life force into herself, making the most of the opportunity. Naruto observed the X-Men discreetly. He expected to encounter opposition, but it never materialized. It appears that Xavier's stance on sparing enemies only applied to his magnetic partner. He considered the possibility that he had already perused the memories of the X-Men and his other subordinates. This thought arose from his awareness that both Selene and Vanessa possessed safeguards against telepathy, thanks to Selene's own telepathic abilities and the training she had imparted to Vanessa to resist such intrusion. Indeed, Naruto was well aware, thanks to the comics and movies, that Xavier had a tendency to delve into the thoughts of others without any regard for personal boundaries. It was likely the professor who had prevented the X-Men from taking action and instead preferred to observe for the time being. Naruto had a less than favorable impression of Xavier. He was like the epitome of a superhero in the Marvel Universe. In some fanfictions he had read in his past life, he was portrayed as a secretive and manipulative villain with mind-controlling abilities. However, he decided to reserve judgment and observe the professor's true character firsthand. He once again focused on Selene, who had now drained almost all of Apocalypse's life force. The formerly strong dictator appeared emaciated and lifeless at the moment. He was barely clinging to life. He no longer possesses any true vitality. His existence relies solely on the armor and his external immortality. "I shall now bring an end to his wretched existence, Master," Selene declared, her smile tinged with a hint of satisfaction. She created a powerful energy blade in her hands to bring an end to the mutant's life. However, at that precise moment, due to some absurd twist of fate, Apocalypse abruptly regained consciousness. He opened his eyes and glanced at Selene, who held a magical blade, before turning his attention to Naruto, who stood there in silence. Initially, Naruto considered attempting an escape, but soon he realized that the emaciated mutant lacked the strength to even twitch a finger. "So I was defeated. I see. I was not the deity I believed myself to be. I have now witnessed the true essence of divinity. Everything has been unveiled," he murmured in a contemplative manner. "Before ending my life, I implore you to reveal your true identity," Apocalypse wearily uttered, his voice feeble as he locked eyes with Naruto. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, a deity. The one who oversees the metahumans and brings about transformative change," Naruto confidently proclaimed, aware that his words were being heard by more than just Apocalypse. "You're Naruto?" Apocalypse weakly asked, clearly taken aback. "Selene, eliminate him. The unfortunate mutant should not endure any further. Relieve him of his agony," Naruto commanded Selene, disregarding Apocalypse's inquiry. He was undoubtedly a fair and just deity, without a hint of hypocrisy. "No, definitely not." Selene promptly inserted the magical energy knife into Apocalypse's skull, effectively bringing an end to his life. However, Naruto abruptly detected a presence. He noticed something emerging from the lifeless mutant's body and attempted to swiftly flee. Normally, Naruto would have been unsure of what to do, but this time his instincts kicked in. With his expertise, he effortlessly activated his Divine Spirit perk and swiftly apprehended the elusive entity. Upon capturing it, he quickly grasped its true nature. It seemed like the essence of the deceased Apocalypse was attempting to break free. He appeared to have the ability to perceive and communicate with souls, thanks to his unique talent. It appears that even Selene, who was an external herself, was unable to fully eliminate him. This individual, if they managed to escape, could potentially return to trouble me in the future, both metaphorically and perhaps even in a supernatural sense. He had a brilliant idea that struck him out of the blue. Imagine the possibility of utilizing the Divine Spirit perk to engage in physical combat with spirits and other astral beings. He promptly attempted to verify his hypothesis. As he skillfully utilized the advantage and exerted force on the soul he was holding, fractures gradually started to form on its body, growing larger and larger. As he exerted greater force, the soul ultimately shattered and burst into tiny specks of light. Ding! Quest accomplished. Rewards are being processed. The Mother Box equipment card has been put in your inventory. The objective was ultimately completed. Naruto should be joyful right now, but he's thinking about something else. He had always wondered how it felt to truly take someone's life, but now that he'd finished it, he felt nothing. He did not feel empty or experience any other emotions such as pleasure or despair. He didn't feel like puking. All he felt was one step closer to greater power. That is all he felt. Naruto prayed that there was nothing wrong with him and that this was only a result of his god blood. He could only hope this was the case. He suddenly snapped out of his thoughts and refocused his attention on the actual world. That was excellent job, Selene. You did really well. You too, Vanessa. You performed great, too. He also commended Vanessa after witnessing her pouty expression. He may be a god today, but he was not going to be a dull, constantly serious deity. He would be a fun, strong character. Excuse me, Mr. Fireheart, I actually wanted to thank you for rescuing me earlier. The professor's voice abruptly turned towards Naruto as he noticed him approaching with the rest of his squad. It's okay. It was my joy. As for Apocalypse, he posed a threat to everyone. He was a worldwide menace that needed to be eradicated for the benefit of both mutants and humans. Naruto smiled as he returned the professor's welcome. He didn't want to make the X-Men his enemies just now. They had certain use, particularly as bait for some fascinating people. You probably know me already, but let me introduce myself again. My name is Professor Charles Xavier, and I am the administrator of a tiny mutant school. I owe you money since you assisted not just myself but also the children at my school today. The lecturer smiled sagely. Naruto could sense a faint touch on his mental defenses, which he recognized as the professor. However, because to his unfathomable mental perk, Xavier had no opportunity of entering his thoughts. Then perhaps you should not try to use your telepathy on your benefactor, as that could be considered rude and almost somewhat of a crime. Naruto smirked. I am really sorry. I didn't intend to do that. It's honestly become a nasty habit for me that I should strive to manage. The lecturer appeared really remorseful. But Naruto didn't care if he apologized or not. It's alright. Just don't attempt it next time. It's irritating and upsetting. He kept his calm and did not betray his disdain at the professor's blatant attempt to mind rape him. All of the other X-Men, save Scott and Logan, had embarrassed expressions. Because Scott was upset with Naruto for not allowing the professor to mind rape him, whilst Logan seemed unconcerned and was concentrated on smoking his cigar, which he had obtained from someplace. Using too much psychic abilities on someone is never a smart idea, after all. Naruto looked at Jean and remarked, "You might accidentally break their mind if you try too hard." He was attempting to influence Jean here, sowing discontent among the squad that he may use later. Jean was a bit astonished. She didn't understand why he said it while staring at her, but suddenly something hit her. Did the professor know about my abilities and my everyday nightmares? Did he do anything to my mind during our normal exercises? She pondered to herself. She was not happy with the prospect of someone altering her views. She determined to be more aware of the professor from now on and not allow him into her thinking so readily. Even Aurora had a tiny hesitation. Has the professor previously done this to someone at the academy? No, I should not distrust him, but I also shouldn't completely believe him. Maybe I should ask Jean to assist me create some mental barriers, not only for the professor, but also for other telepaths. Hank, who had been quiet until now, cautiously walked forward and advised the professor that they should go since the academy had no defenses at the moment. The professor nodded, and the whole crew prepared to depart. Naruto was welcomed to the academy, where he was assured he could visit whenever he wished. Naruto knew he would take them up on their offer later. Jean even gave him a quick kiss on the cheek as she departed, making him vow to return later, which made Scott so enraged that his visor started to glow red. Aurora also hugged him and let him feel her delicious curves before departing. She even gave him "fcukami" eyes, as Naruto used to call them. It was difficult to be attractive. The strange thing was that Bobby gave him the same expression and attempted to embrace him as well. But Naruto maintained a polite distance and just shook hands. He didn't say anything to the person since he wasn't sure how to inform him about his own straightness without hurting his heart or upsetting him. But he would certainly say it next time. All of the men save Scott gave him a fist bump as well. Logan's fist bump felt like bumping against a metal pillar, which was both strange and cool. As the X-Men boarded their flight, Naruto could finally collect his haul. It is now time to enjoy the benefits of all my hard work. I mentally willed the machine to display my inventory page and choose the freshly obtained card. Displaying information about the chosen card, Motherbox. A sentient autonomous living computer in a tiny compact box designed just for gods and fully loyal to the user. It has the following abilities. Living Sense. Detect and evaluate living forms. Machine Animation. Control. Take over and control non-sentient or sentient machines inferior to itself, with the power to develop them as well. Living Support. Supporting a living form in a hazardous environment, such as space, among many others. Health Manipulation. Control the user's or others' life energy in order to keep them alive after deadly injuries. Telepathy. Communicate telepathically with the user or other living things. Telekinesis. Possesses limited telekinetic capacity to lift itself and other lightweight items. Force Field. Can form energy barriers to shield itself from damage. Boom Tubes. The ability to open and seal boom tubes that may transport people or groups across galaxies or dimensions. Smart AI. Can be triggered at any moment for a smoother and more efficient experience. Can be further improved under certain situations. Wow, it is astounding, but also a little disappointing. I mean, there is no function for employing magic, manipulating energy and matter, or even having the corrupting ability that I expected. But the good news is that it's upgradable and reportedly has some type of clever AI, something even DC's mother boxes lack. However, those DC boxes are most likely already operational since they have the capacity to terraform whole planets and such. I suppose I was correct. I am not very lucky, however. I did not allow myself to be too disappointed when I attempted to summon the mother box from my inventory. As it appeared in my hand from a little vortex, I noted how small the mother box was. It's about the size of a typical Rubik's Cube. I received another notice as soon as it fully manifested in my hands. Please choose one of the AI settings to begin interacting with your equipment. 1. Male AI. 2. Female AI. 3. Asexual AI. 4. No AI necessary. So I think the system is truly personalizing the mother box for me. I, of course, picked the female version since I have the magnificent title of God of Culture, which I aim to cherish till my dying day. As my new AI began up, I could feel the box scanning its surrounds, including myself. Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am the AI of your new mother box, said a seductive feminine voice from inside the mother box. All of my subordinates were already taken aback by the bizarre box that appeared in my hands out of nowhere, but now they were much more shocked by this unexpected voice. One of my nameless mob followers even took a defensive stance at this. I of course disregarded them all. Right now, I was more concerned with my new gadget. Hello there, Naruto said back. Do you have a name? I asked the curiously appealing cube. No, I currently don't, but you can give me a name, sir. The cube replied by flashing a few of its lights. Okay, so your name will now be Aiza, I said after some thought. I chose the first name that sprang to me, and no, I didn't feel any shame while doing it. In fact, I was overjoyed that I could finally have my own AI. All of the wealthy and prominent characters in the comics had one at some point. I now have one, as well. By the way, Aiza, can you help me in hacking into a particular technology? I inquired, thinking about Apocalypse's armor and ship. Of course. I have highly strong computational capabilities and can hack into practically anything you want, sir. Aiza bragged about herself. Okay. Good. Then attempt to take possession of the armor that the deceased corpse is now wearing, I continued, keeping a straight expression. Sure, sir. After getting her instruction, Aiza levitated to Apocalypse's dead corpse from Naruto's palm and started scanning the armor. Once it had finished scanning, it created tentacle-like cables from its own body and started operating on the armor. What is that and what is it doing, master? Vanessa could not contain her curiosity and questioned him. It's our new tool, Vanessa. Its name is Aiza. She is a mother box, and her role is to assist us in achieving our objectives. Right now, it is attempting to take over Apocalypse's armor and will soon do the same for us to its ship, I informed Vanessa with a smile. But can we actually trust it? Celine was the one to inquire this time. It is absolutely faithful to me, therefore we can trust it. But I'll run some tests on it later, just to be sure, I informed her, mentally adding the assignment to my to-do list. As we spoke, Aiza began to succeed in hacking the armor. The heavenly armor eventually unlocked some of its pieces and slipped out of Apocalypse's body, much like a nanotech Iron Man suit. Then it drifted to me, controlled by Aiza. There were some viruses on it that had tried to permanently bond the armor with the dead person over there, but I was easily able to override the viruses and free the armor of any and all external influence. Aiza did not stop bragging at all. You may now link with this armor if you choose, sir. I also made some changes on my own to make this armor more appropriate for you. She kept trying to satisfy her new owner. Thank you, but please consult with me before making any changes to random objects in the future, I tell her. She had indeed demonstrated her expertise to me, as she successfully eliminated a highly dangerous virus from a sophisticated piece of technology in her very first task. Now, could you assume control of that ship too? I inquired, confident in her ability to assist. Certainly, I can assist you, she responded with a sense of superiority. It appears that she has a strong sense of self-worth. She takes great pride in her abilities, no doubt about it. We were all captivated as we witnessed Aiza's flight towards the pyramid-shaped ship and her seamless connection to it, just as she had done before with the armor. She confidently announced that she had finished the task in just a few minutes. She inquired about my preferences regarding potential upgrades to the ship, such as altering its design or incorporating new features. However, I turned them down. Currently, it is imperative that we vacate this location promptly, as various covert organizations or military forces from around the globe could potentially arrive at any moment. And I didn't want to make my presence known to everyone at the moment. I had unfinished tasks to attend to discreetly. As I put on my new armor, I immediately felt a profound change come over me. I felt a surge of confidence as I sensed the cosmic energies converging around me. I could sense a powerful connection between myself and the armor, almost as if a divine energy was flowing through me. It felt incredibly comfortable, as if it was tailor-made for me. I could tell that this armor provided me with a substantial improvement compared to my previous state. You look incredibly impressive, Vanessa said with a hint of admiration. It appears that she was impressed by my new professional and polished look. I graciously smiled at her and gently placed my hands on the waists of Vanessa and Celine. All right, everyone, it's time to put our new ride to the test. Let's make sure everything is in order before we take it for a spin, I said with a smile. As we made our way towards my new spaceship, I suddenly recalled the presence of the unconscious telepath ninja lying a short distance away from us. Now, how should we handle her? While Naruto contemplated the idea of including Psylocke in their spaceship journey, Celine noticed his thoughts and comprehended his intentions. We can bring her if you would like, sir. Based on my previous encounter with her, I discovered that she possesses impressive skills and her unconventional utilization of psionic energy could prove to be valuable if she were to join our team. Even if we don't consider her skills, she will at least be able to provide you with excellent service based on her physical appearance alone. Celine smirked at the unconscious Psylocke. She had become increasingly dedicated to Naruto over the past 2 years, even going so far as to search for priestesses to please him. Naruto, on the other hand, never supported her efforts, despite genuinely appreciating Celine's intentions. He was not interested in engaging in casual relationships. Being a reincarnated god in Marvel, his mindset no longer allowed him to feel a physical attraction towards just anyone. Even if he desired companionship, he would only seek it with the talented women who possess extraordinary abilities, distinct personalities, and captivating characters. He could engage in intimate encounters with a variety of partners, but only if they met certain criteria. However, with Selene providing him with support regarding Psylocke, Naruto was eager to pursue her. He had already made plans to pursue some of the Marvel girls in the future for himself. Elizabeth Braddock, also known as Psylocke, was certainly on the list. However, he maintained a composed demeanor and instructed Selene to accompany him to the spaceship. How could he overlook such an incredible opportunity to add a skilled mutant ninja to his team? He also brought Psylocke into the spaceship with them. Then Naruto instructed Aiza to start it. He had already instructed his other subordinates to return to the base using the jet they had arrived in. He chose not to bring these followers aboard the spaceship, as he intended to maintain the secrecy of its location and future whereabouts, known only to his most trusted individuals. Gradually, the entire pyramid started to ascend from the ground and into the vast expanse of space. Naruto intended to store his new ship at his preferred training location, Mars. It was a location that was safe from any potential theft attempts by unscrupulous individuals. Naruto was determined to maintain his composure and protect his standing by refraining from causing harm to anyone in a public setting at this time. He had remaining tasks to complete in the light before transitioning to the dark side. He understood the importance of maintaining a professional demeanor as a ruler, even from the beginning, in order to leave a lasting legacy. For now, he would only display confidence in front of his enemies instead of always behaving in an arrogant manner like in those cultivation novels. However, he was determined not to allow anyone to take advantage of him. Oh no, if someone attempted to challenge him, he would ensure to thoroughly defeat that person. By the way, I should make an effort to discover the location of the uncivilized island. Naruto contemplated the possibility of his spaceship garage on Earth. He believed that once he discovered that location, he could utilize it as his primary headquarters. Additionally, I would greatly appreciate an abundance of vibranium and anti-metal. As the ship gracefully traversed the boundaries of the Earth's atmosphere, Naruto finally posed the question that had been occupying his thoughts to Aiza. Can people from Earth see us? During our flight, there were no planets or missiles aimed at us. Additionally, I'm curious about the source of energy for this ship. I'm sorry, but it's not possible for anyone from Earth to see us. I utilized the ship's advanced cloaking technology to effectively conceal it from both human observation and technological detection. The ship's core is capable of self-sustaining power through the absorption of cosmic and stellar energies from space. Aiza responded promptly. Does it have a name? Selene inquired, displaying her professionalism. She was intrigued by the unique sight before her, as her long life had exposed her to countless experiences, yet nothing quite like this. Yes, its name is Prosh. It had its own AI, but unfortunately, it was destroyed by techno-organic viruses. So I efficiently handled the situation by eliminating the viruses that were infecting this ship. Aiza always took pride in showcasing her skills. Currently, she displayed a sense of eagerness and enthusiasm, much like a newborn child, as she sought to demonstrate her value to others, particularly her new owner. Well, even if she is currently displaying some immaturity, it doesn't alter the fact that she is highly valuable, Naruto smiled to himself. However, as he was contemplating these thoughts, he suddenly felt a touch on his lower region. It appears that Vanessa lost control and willingly knelt in front of him, seeking release for both of them. Vanessa had a strong desire for sexual activity. She desired to engage in frequent encounters with Naruto on a daily basis. She utilized her transformative abilities to the fullest extent, ensuring that Naruto never experienced a moment of monotony. And honestly, he did not. Naruto always approached intimate encounters with enthusiasm and energy. At times, he pondered whether he possessed a divine ability to bring pleasure to others. I'm not sure. He was concerned about not becoming another Zeus, if that were to happen. Anyway, Vanessa seemed quite frustrated today. At first, she hadn't received any assistance from Naruto throughout the day. Then, despite her extensive training over the past 2 years, she couldn't emerge victorious in her battle against Mystique, which only served to amplify her frustration. Additionally, she found herself quite captivated by Naruto's new armor, admiring his impressive physique. She made the most of the romantic atmosphere in space, aiming to create a memorable experience for him and hoping for an equally passionate response. Naruto understood her thought process. He had a deep understanding of her personality. He failed to prevent her. Indeed, he was quite pleased with himself today and desired to commemorate the occasion. And what could be more exciting for a celebration than a threesome? Even Celine didn't attempt to oppose Vanessa's actions. Instead, she quietly knelt in front of him, offering a helping hand. Before both girls could attempt to release Naruto's massive serpent creature, known as Jormungandr Ultra, from his armor, Naruto shifted his focus to the other attractive mutant lying on the floor in torn clothing. He smirked and casually asked, "How much longer do you plan on pretending to be unconscious?" Stay tuned for more. Thanks for tuning into this video. If you found this video entertaining, please show your support by liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing for future content.